Hello. Hello everyone, Tactical Itch here. Looks like we are live. And yeah, today we are having a little bit of a new tournament, new tournament on the channel. But this tournament has been hosted for quite a while by the RTK clan. And today, thanks to RTK's Big JP inviting me to help cast this tournament, I am helping out. Wait, hold on. Please configure backup stream. Hold on. I hope everyone can hear me over here, right? Yeah. Let me know if there are any audio issues or if the stream doesn't have any sound. Because I am not entirely sure. Let me know if there are any. Okay, I think that we have. Yeah. Let me quickly refresh this and Okay. Testing. Okay. Yep. I think we are good for now. And yeah, welcome everyone, Tactical Itch here, and yeah, let's do the story again. And yeah, welcome everyone, Tactical Itch here, and yeah, today we have a new player conquest tournament hosted by the RTK clan, organized by them, and very fortunately today we are invited by none other than Big JP of their clan, and to help cast the tournament. Now this, of course, we're only casting tournament replays since we do have a lot of replays coming in from all the players, and yeah, we'll just check out what the new players are up to with this tournament. This is basically a weekly event. I'm sure if you're here, you're probably aware that this is a weekly event hosted by RTK clan, and yeah, just trying to get more newer players to join in and have fun with the Total Warhammer. Now, today we have already have a few replays out here and are ready to be cast. So okay, this is from yesterday, so let's not look at that. But yeah, let's just jump into the first replays. Wow, we have Grimgore. We have Grimgore already on the very first battle. This is gonna be fun. But yeah, apologies for being slightly later than usual. This tournament started at 6, and I only just got to get in front of my computer. As usual, I was very busy cooking. Yeah, anyways, for those of you who don't know, I am very big into making food and stuff. Probably my favorite thing in the world. And then second to that is gaming. Yeah. Yeah, I basically had like a beef brisket sitting in the fridge for like a whole week now. I bought like 2 kg worth of beef brisket and then ate half of it over the past week, and I still need to finish it. So yeah, I really need to finish off those brisket today, which is why when Big JP sent out the invite, he was like, I had to tell him I need to start later than 6 o'clock, because yeah, I need to get my cooking done. Anyways, that is enough digression. Let's go into the army build here on both sides. On the green skin side, actually I forgot to check the player names. I'm very sorry there. Let me just quickly load back up the replay file and just go into the channel, Discord channel, and see who sent in these replays. I think that's Hot Fiery Potato sent in this replay here. Hot Fiery Potato is the greenskins, and then on the other side, I am not sure who they are, but we'll check it out in the end. Greenskin versus Lizardman. Greenskins going for a front line of Orc Boys spears, and yeah. I hope all the audio and stuff are all working fine, because I am not entirely sure. But either ways, yeah, Orc Boys in the front line here, and they are led by Grimgore Ironhide. Orc Boys in the front line is quite a brave choice. I don't really see them in general. Orc Boys in general is just not a common pick, as they're not exactly the greatest infantry. They're not exactly cheap, and they're not exactly good either. They're in an awkward spot. But looks like we have some gold chevron Orc Boys fully upgraded with their spears, and yeah, it's gonna be a stalwart force of defensive greenskins. This is gonna be interesting. Now behind them, a bunch of Orc Air Boys, and also Squig Herds and Orc Boy Broken Tusk Mob, Orc Boy Wiggins, Regiment of Renown with their immune to psychology, if I remember correctly. Nope, not immune. Oh, they have encouragement aura. Never mind. Orc Boar Begins, regular ones, and yeah, very solid anti-large armor piercing cavalry, ready to punch down some enemy dinos. For the skirmishing cavalry, 4 whole units of Goblin Wolf Rider archers. You don't usually see these guys except of Manji Marauders. Usually you have the Spider Rider archers with their poison, but seems like this time Hot Fiery Potato is favoring just the pure speed and cheaper aspect of the Wolf Rider archers. Now on the other side, Skink skirmishers in the front line, really nice, screening out the enemy skirmishers with their cheap and cheerful numbers in general. Loose formation, making skirmishing cavalry really not quite effective against these guys. Front line of Skink hordes with Javis, and they're supported by 3 powerful dinos, Shredder of Lustria. With the leadership debuff, Dread Aversion, -8 leadership, this makes the Greenskin frontline rather vulnerable to the Shredder plowing through. On top of that, healing with the Bastiladon, Rev Crystal, Lord Mazdamundi with even more healing in the form of Apotheosis, Net of Ementok to pin down enemy targets, and the good old Ruination of Cities and Bound Banishment. And yeah, let's just go back into normal speed here. Let's check what the Goblin Shaman brings in here. Vindictive Glare and Curse of the Bad Moon. Curse of the Bad Moon, not exactly a great spell, not gonna lie. It's just have really shit damage potential, so it doesn't really do much in battle. Although the Orc Air Boys does have decentish AP value with 6 armor piercing per shot. So in terms of sheer volume of firepower, they might be able to put a dent on the Shredder of Lustria. But speaking of the Shredder is already putting a dent in the front line of the Greenskins here. The Dread Aversion, and on top of that, 2 big chunky monsters plowing through, smashing through those Orc Boys with spears in the front line. And the Orc Boar Begins was just sitting at the back there, getting hit by a banishment. Oh, that was a very painful mistake. Ruination of Cities going down the line on some Orc Air Boys. Looks like Hot Fiery Potatoes is getting a really good engagement so far in the front line. Skink infantry are engaging a bunch of Squig herds and Orc Boys with spears. They can't really break through the Orc Boys, but all they need to do is just to pin down the enemy front line while the big monsters do their thing. And the Greenskins don't really have the resources to deal with the 2 big monster pieces right now. Lord Mazdamundi having that solid armor, and on top of that missile resistance and ward save from Shield of the Old Ones, and on top of that healing from Apotheosis, and sometimes perhaps from the Bastiladon with Rev Crystal as well. Yeah, the Greenskins simply do not have the kind of burst damage to hack down those monster pieces. Grimgor Ironhide might be a powerful attacking unit, but he is a Footlord, and Footlord of course struggles to catch up with big monstrous pieces. Of course, if Grimgor can get some damage through, he can definitely put a dent on Lord Mazdamundi's HP bar, but the rest of the battlefield is pretty much going in favor of the Lizardmen here, as they are kind of losing control of the front line and of course the capture point. I'm not sure. Actually, I need to check if this tournament is hosted with a mod or not. But I don't think this battle will be decided by a mod, because as you can see, the Lizardmen are getting quite a bit of a lead in terms of balance of power, and pretty much every single monster is not gonna be easily killable by all these Greenskin units. Manji Marauders is probably the only threatening unit against the big monsters with the AP fire, but as we can see here, it's directing a lot of its ammo towards Skink skirmishers, which is definitely not a wise use of the AP shots. And they are now down to 8 volleys of ammunition, and there's still 2 whole big pieces of monster to kill through, and that is probably not going to work here. Spears theoretically are counter monster, but these are Orc Boys, come on. Even with Goat Chevrons, they just don't have the kind of leadership to hold against monster pieces like the Shredder, especially with the Shredder -8 leadership, right? So yeah, with a banishment, some of the spears are routing, and then more spears will be routed as well. Ruination of Cities on top of all these stacked up, holy shit, on top of all these stacked up Goblin Wolf Rider archers, absolutely nuking them to oblivion. Giving the Lizardmen an even bigger advantage here as the skirmishing cavalry are getting eliminated. Grimgor is still trying to catch up to the big monster pieces, and he is not having a good time. Even if he tries to go after Lord Mazdamundi, with your next slowing him down, Shredder is just munching on him from behind. And yeah, looks like there's some damage coming in from all these skirmishing firepower, chipping away the health of the Shredder, but the Shredder can simply get some heals back up with the Apotheosis from Lord Mazdamundi. Sneaky Vindictive Glare doesn't have much AP value, even upgraded version. Upgraded version is better, but like, yeah, it's still not great. So not doing a whole lot of damage to Shredder. Now Grimgor managing to stand and fight against the Shredder, starting to put a dent in his HP bar, but at this point, the Greenskins, again, simply don't have the damage potential to work through all the heals from the Apotheosis, Rev Crystal, and there's just too much HP, too much horror on the battlefield, spooking the Greenskins' flimsy leadership. Grimgor is putting up a good fight. He is scrapping it, but he doesn't have healing. He doesn't have any access to recovery like the Lizardman, and that shall be GG to the Lizardman player. Hot-Fiery Potato here. Oh, yeah. Hot-Fiery Potato doing going for a pretty interesting build. Other players, Contrarian Codex. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Contrarian Codex here. A very strong combo choice. Holy shit, Shredder. And Lord Mazdamundi did roughly 6,000 gold worth of damage value. So basically, they killed off half the army of the Greenskins themselves. And the Greenskins don't really have a way to counteract these big monster centerpieces outside of Morgrove's Manji Marauders. But other than that, even the Orc Boy Bagans, okay, this one got nuked by banishment, so it doesn't really count. The Broken Tusk Mob couldn't really earn back their own value, and the Orc Boys with Spears, despite all the gold investment onto them, they're just not a great unit, and they're not a cost-effective choice for sure. So, yeah, unfortunately, kind of like a wasted potential. Grimgor Ironhide fought to his last breath, and definitely did some good damage here, but there's a reason why we don't use him, because a good fighter Foot Lord is just not that viable in this current meta right now. And yeah, that will be the first victory of the first game for the day. Contrarian Codex versus the Hot-Fiery Potato, with the Lizardman of Contrarian Codex taking the victory. Now, let us go into the second. Okay, this one's sent in by the same player, so we can delete these. And yeah. Time versus okay. Time versus Spikes here. We have Skaven versus Empire. I haven't seen Empire in a while because everyone just bans Empire outright, and yeah, as a result, nobody can play Empire. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Two very strong factions in the current meta. Skaven, especially with Poison Wing Globes, can just nuke infantry out like nobody business. And on the other side, we do have Elspeth coming in with Spirit Leeches, I suppose, on a Carmine Dragon. I believe that is allowed. Usually Carmine Dragon is banned in tournaments and all that, but I think they might be allowed these days. I am not sure. Haven't seen a Carmine Dragon for ages as well. But yeah, for the Skaven tide here, a front line of Skaven shields and a bunch of Climrat spears. Yeah, Climrat shields, Climrat spears, Poison Wing Globes, and Red Ogres guarding them. Some Night Runners, and also more Night Runners and poison. Are these poison? No, just regular wolf rats. Regular wolf rats scattered across the flanks. Red Ogres, just a very skirmishy deployment for the Night Runners. Gacha Runners even, the more expensive version of Runners of the Skavens. And then Wolf Rats, and yeah. Leading the army, we have Ikiklov on his hamster wheel with a Brass Orb, Unlimited Power, Warp Lightning, Flensing Ruins. Yeah, that's about it for the spell. Of course, it's going to be Flensing Ruin. And on the other hand, there we have Elspeth coming in with his with her Carmine Dragon's Laser Breath, Coruscating Breath, the Godzilla, and then a front line of the actual Godzilla. This one, because it actually has a dead laser. But yeah, front line of spears, and then some Empire Knights on the flanks. A bunch of Free Company Militia. Interesting choice here. I guess they can definitely fan off the Skaven Slave Summon, so this is not exactly a bad choice against the enemy Skavens, if they can just probably drop some summons to disrupt your backline. But given that we are seeing a bunch of Flensing Ruin today, it's not gonna be a big deal. White Wolves and the Silver Bullets at the back there. So some Regiment of Renown, very strong missile firepower, but I'm not sure what's the purpose of them gonna be. Anyways, we can see some Spirit Leech coming in from Elspeth, draining down a Kit Claw, and it's definitely a good target here. If you can snipe out a Kit early, then the Skavens will be in massive trouble, given that they can't really... Oh, look at the laser! Half his HP is just gone! That's why a lot of tournaments still ban, I think, Elspeth. But yeah. Yeah! That is painful. Kit Claw just straight up died there. I think we can basically conclude this game. Without a Kit Claw, like, if a Kit's leadership, if a Kit dies or just leaves the combat, then the Skaven leadership is just gonna take a big hit and they can't even hold in combat for much. Letting a Kit go is definitely a big mistake here. If Elspeth can keep on the pressure and just keep dropping Spirit Leeches and maybe even her Death Timekeeper. Okay, she already used one, so it's like she only have one more use left. But still, just keep dropping those Spirit Leeches and keep a Kit Claw on the run, and then the Skavens will probably pretty much can't fight back, losing a lot of their valuable investment in a terror-causing piece in a Flensing Ruin caster and on top of the Brass Orb. I mean, Brass Orb isn't the most game-changing thing, but still. Every little bit helps, and yeah, and on top of that, the leadership penalty is just too great here. But yeah, it is pretty much, I think it's pretty much GG for Skaven, honestly. As their front line, I mean, they're doing some good work here, but it's really pretty much down to killing a Kit at this point. Some of these Night Runners are moving up, trying to shoot at Elspeth, but Elspeth can simply tank it through with enough HP, missile resistance, and on top of the heavy armor. Not heavy, but decent-ish armor and scaly skin. Yeah. Red Ogres are still fighting on, and a Kit is holding on to his dear life, just trying to stay the hell away from Elspeth. But Elspeth, noticing that a Kit is coming back, will be moving on over to deal with them, and then at the back line, their free company militia doesn't really have a purpose, since they don't really have the greatest targets to shoot at, and instead being blasted by Poison Wind Globes. And at the back line there, the Empire player definitely was a little bit... a bit of a misuse of the Flensing Rune. You don't want to cast it on a bunch of random spears. You want to dump it onto a character. You want to target the character, and so the spell will follow the character and keep draining away their health. But yeah, either ways, I don't think... Yeah, okay, never mind. Not a lot of spell resistance. I don't think that it's gonna matter too much here. Although Skaven definitely doing good work here, scrapping back with all these Wolf Rats and Red Ogres jumping onto enemy backline, piling on these exposed White Wolves and the Silver Bullets. Silver Bullets straight up gone. As the Empire Knights are kind of out of position, unable to really counteract those mobility threats, the sheer swarm of Skavens. Every time they pick up a unit, they can send something fast and enough to catch up with the fleeing Empire troops, while at the same time they're Elspeth surrounded by Red Ogres. Now this seems like, outside of the mistake of getting caught by the laser breath, the Skaven is definitely doing a really good job here, keeping a Kit Claw the hell away from Elspeth, just keeping him safe, or keeping him just away from Spirit Leeches and all that. And yeah, a mutual rout from the Spears and the Clan Rats both decided to just give up on the fight, and while Elspeth is taking more and more damage surrounded by Red Ogres. And looks like Skaven is definitely bringing this one back. If Skaven got their a Kit sniped out by Elspeth, then it still might just be GG, but still. Yeah, if they can actually find a way to work down Elspeth, then this will be their victory, because the rest of the Empire troops are basically all gone. A lot of value being invested onto Elspeth there. That means a lot of value was drained away from the actual army itself. And yeah. Plus simply better control of their army here. With the Skavens managed to swarm those Empire backline, sending those mobility in and catching those White Wolves and Silver Bullets out. Wait, what? Did a Kit just die to a Spirit Leech or something? Oh, a Kit routed a third time. Yeah, he got hit by a Spirit Leech and a I assume a Kit just got hit by a Spirit Leech and Death Timekeeper combo, and his whatever remains of his health just got drained away. And because he routed twice earlier in the game, he routed a third time, and that will be the end for the Skyr Lord. Still, balance of power is still in the Skaven's favor, as Elspeth have no choice but to just jump in and fight everything in melee, and yeah, somehow despite a kid getting hit by a Godzilla dead laser, and on top of that being hit by Spirit Leash and stuff, still managed to hold on till the late game there, staying away from Elspeth's attacks, and somehow managed to pull back with a victory. Very good game, very nicely played with Teamy, and Spikes here also did some really good performance with Elspeth, of course being a very strong, powerful lord and all that, but yeah, the rest of the army can use a little bit of adjustment. The Free Company Militia definitely didn't do much in this aspect, as they don't really have any good targets to shoot at, which is why I personally wouldn't really bring a ton of Free Company Militia. I might bring archers and stuff instead. Haven't played this. No. So basically, personally, if I'm playing against Skavens as the Empire, I almost always bring Boris Todbringer because of all his leadership debuff items and abilities. He can be really suppressive against Skaven. Skaven doesn't have good leadership anyways, but if you add something on top, like the leadership debuffs of Boris Todbringer, you can really easily nuke down their leadership and push them back. And then add something like Burning Head, and you're just basically stacking 20 plus leadership debuff onto a single unit at that point. Because you have Crush the Weak, you have Blood Roar, which is a -12 leadership in total, and then Burning Head, which is like another -8 leadership with burned effect. Yeah, you can just immediately bomb a Skaven front line wherever you are. And also, White Wolves, Silver Bullets, they might be really strong missile units, but they are never good against Skavens because you won't really have good targets. You won't really have good targets to shoot at against the Skaven army. Sometimes they can just spam infantry. Sometimes they'll bring artillery, which can definitely outshoot your Empire missile infantry. So yeah, not exactly the greatest choice here, and definitely would have been better if you kept the Empire Knights to protect your backline a bit more, because in this battle the Skavens have a lot of mobility access to just get into the backline and run down your Free Company Militia, and the Empire Knights weren't exactly in place to deal with those threats. Instead, they were just trying to push those Skaven skirmishers. And yeah. Anyways, that is it for the second battle. Let us move on. This one, Cathay versus Vampire Counts. Oh, this is a bit of a rough one for Vampire Counts. They have a really rough time cutting through the Grand Cathay front line themselves. But if you can use your summons correctly, you can probably disrupt their shooting for a bit. But there are not a lot of flyers on the field, which is what I'm kind of concerned about this. Anyways, Dark Ninja versus Falling X-Star. And yeah, let's see. Let's check out the army builds here. On the side of Dark Ninja, we have a front line of skeleton warriors and zombie mixed in together. A second line of a few grave gods with great weapons, and then black knights with lances and barding, crypt horror providing monstrous presence for support, and then corpse cart bale fire to provide flame resistance. Not sure how. Oh, okay. I guess it's it makes sense if you're bringing it against Cathay, because firing rocket does cause fire damage, but I would say it's probably better to still bring a bunch of Unholy Lodestone instead. Anyways, leadership Vlad von Kostine with Winds of Death. I haven't seen this spell in a while. Invocation of Nahak and Master of Beguilement. Banshee coming in for that single entity sniping power, and White King with Scabscraft to do some AoE damage. Not that it's anything too insane against armored targets, which, well, Cathay has a lot in the front line. Anyways, in the skies, Felbat, one Felbat only, so not a lot of disruption against the enemy missiles, unless they are sending in those cavalry in. But on the other side, Grand Cathay of Falling X-Star, they do have a lot of cavalry to protect their missiles. Peasant archers, Iron Hail gunners are their missile targets. They're supported, protected by a ton of peasant horses and jade lances. A lot of mass, a lot of speed, just great for screening out enemy monsters and hounds, the dire wolves and stuff. And even flyers, actually. Even if there is a bunch of Vargheists dropping down, they can just get swarmed by a bunch of Jade Lances and Peasant Horses. Anyways, on the rest of the Rank of Thea army, a front line of Jade Warriors and Peasant Long Spears led by Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, with only Dragon's Breath here to do AoE damage. Otherwise, he is just a great tanky piece with his Burning Vambraces to heal himself up in the case that his HP gets low. Let's see if the Vampire Counts can get a proper fight, or will they be at a disadvantage here? Anyways, a little bit of cheeky charging with the Peasant Horses, trying to do some impact damage on those peasants, but they're sticking themselves in melee for too long. Don't do that. If you decided to charge enemy front line, you need to immediately pull back almost immediately after the charge lands, or else your units will just get stuck in a melee fight and just keep taking damage like these Peasant Horses. Anyways, Zhao Ming doesn't have that kind of concern, charging in, and because the Tithe and the Grave Gods with great weapons are kind of bunch up, it's a 2-for-1 Dragon's Breath attack. Not that it did a lot of damage against the armored Grave Gods. Anyways, Jade Warriors have no issue holding against a bunch of zombies and skeletons, while... Oh, damn, Zhao Ming took quite a bit of damage from the single entities already. So, yeah, the Peasant Horses will be coming in, jumping in to just save their lord and back the hell out of there. Emperor Scrollman ready to move in and drop some bombs. And see if there's any good blobs for those explosions to happen. This might be it. This might be coming in. Anyways, on the far side there, Peasant Horses are pinning down Black Knights and Skeleton Spears, just preventing them from breaking through defenses and harass the back line over there. Although, oh no, what have you done, Falling Star? The Peasant Horses are pushing up a bit too aggressively, and they're not actually protecting the back line. And yeah, everything is out of position, allowing the Direwolves to jump into one of those Iron Hail Gunners, start chomping them down. But with now the Jade Lances, 3 whole units of cavalry piling in, these Direwolves' days are numbered. Now over here, Zhao Ming is getting hit by Master of Beguilement. His melee attack dropping extremely low. So he is just once again backing out of the fight, just buying more time. If anything, the Rank of Thea army is just kind of sending their units out in the front to just slow down enemy advance and buy more time for the archers to keep shooting. And yeah, the back there Direwolves have been dealt with, and some of these peasant archers are kind of standing there idle, not quite doing anything. What you can do is just to maneuvering them around and start getting them over to start shooting at the closest target. It doesn't really matter what they're shooting at. Best target is definitely the Crypt Horrors, since they are more expensive, lightly armored, and your infantry can't really effectively kill them. So on top of that, they have big hitboxes, which, well, archer units love big hitboxes. Anyways, yeah, Jade Lancers counter-charging the Crypt Horrors, pinning them down, slowing their advances. Once again, just keeping those vampire advances at bay and buy more time for the peasant archers to keep shooting. Another Dragon's Breath, not doing a whole lot of damage, but here comes a Wind of Death. Is it a 2-for-1 hit? But doing some good damage against the Jade Warriors, but doesn't really kill that many models. One of them still having 120 models despite all the HP damage, because the spell doesn't actually kill models, just damage them severely. But it does make them weaker in terms of melee combat and quicker to be killed, so that is still good. Anyways, Grave Gods are grinding through, slowly definitely cutting down these Emperor's Crowmen. Holy shit. A lot of damage has been done to them, especially with the Black Knights with Lances and Barding piling in. And very interesting tactic from Dak Ninja here, actually. Shifting all the units over to this side of the battlefield and just piling overload one flank of the Rank of the army. And because Falling Star was a little bit slow to react, some of these peasant archers haven't been doing much, just kind of standing on the other flank for quite a while before getting moved over to start doing damage. Anyways, Lances and Barding has been definitely tirelessly psycho-charging enemy front line there, and Jade Lances counter-charging once more, but the Grave Gods with great weapons are slowly cutting down these Jade Lances. Yeah. While Zhao Ming is just rolling through the back line. Perhaps dropping a few more Dragon's Breath on the zombie chaff, and a skeleton chaff can definitely help the Rank of Thea front line. Oh, finally the Fell Bats have been activated, dropping onto the peasant archer back line, trying to harass those Rank of Thea missiles, while while the tide of Grave Gods with great weapons continues to grind through enemy forces. The Corpse Cult with Balefire providing that Rigor Mortis is really key in boosting nearby undead troops' melee stats to help them cut through those Cathay chaff even faster. Oh, hello, David. And yeah, Peasant Longspear are trying desperately to hold on against the Grave Gods with great weapons, but they constantly just fight on. They don't have actually that much healing. They just manage to slowly grind through enemy. They're just steadily grinding through enemy infantry, and Jade Warriors, the Peasant Longspears, can't really stand against it. And with the triple undead character sticking really close to Zhao Ming, kind of mirroring his movement, just trying to get him down wherever he goes. Zhao Ming is taking more and more damage. Balance of power is in favor of the undead. After all, their characters are still very much healthy, especially Vlad von Kostein. He's just constantly healing, and there are not a lot of good units for the Grand Cafe to kill him, actually. A lot of their units are still sitting back there, not exactly doing much. And yeah, we'll do a bit of fast forward. We're in a bit of a grindy phase here. The Grave Guards are slowly taking damage. There has been some invocation of the hack to keep them healthy, but eventually they will be dragged down. Another pretty decent, no, actually, mostly dodge Winds of Death here, doing minor damage to Peasant Archers, not doing a whole lot. And yeah, Black Knights with Lances charging into the Tattered Jade Lances, who have been trying to cycle charge and slow down the undead advance, but a little bit of a Death Star, undead character blob combined with some Grave Gods with great weapons are definitely methodically hacking through those Cathay units. And yeah, seems like Grand Cathay might actually get dragged down this time, especially with the triple characters definitely outdueling Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming isn't actually the greatest combatant. He doesn't have the greatest melee stat, and of course Cathay Dragon animations are still kind of janky. So not a whole lot of damage. The great thing about him is just he's tanky with the Burning From Braces, but with army losses kicking in before he can even get his healing. Unfortunately, the Burning From Braces isn't doing much in this battle. And very interesting build from Dark Ninja here. As the undead just steady grind, they just keep advancing with the Grave Gods with great weapons, and also just the flank overload seems to be really effective in this instance. Scrap does some good damage against some of the Peasant Long Spears, and the characters managed to beat down Zhao Ming pretty hard. And even the Crypt Horrors managed to get some value out of their rather pathetic existence. That was surprising to me, at least. Yeah. Seems like the weight of the Grave Gods and the characters plus a bunch of Black Knights concentrating their forces onto one flank, trying to break through the Grand Cafe on one side, while the Peasant Archers aren't exactly being maneuvered to counteract those flanking threats, was able to give the Vampire Counts the win today. Actually, let me just quickly jump into this battle again to see what happened on the flank again. Just revisit the battle a bit. Let me just quickly do that. Okay, we have more replays coming in, so this is gonna be fun. Let me just all right, cool. Let me just quickly fast forward this bit and see what happened over here. Speed. Yeah, I just want to see how the initial engagement happened on one flank. Okay, so we have zombies and spears setting up on one side, but they're not engaging on the other side and are just staying away. And you can see that Dark Ninja's army continues to rotate over to this side of the battlefield. And oh, okay, this is what happened. The Peasant Horses tries to do some cheeky charges against the enemy front line, but they're just getting counter charged and being forced to retreat and just keep getting chased off while being dragged down. That was a very nice use of the Black Knights with Lances and Barding. Of course, especially the Black Knights with Lances and Barding are heavily armored with high charge bonus and can do some good damage. While the Peasant Horsemen, they try to cycle charge, but these units aren't exactly shabby in terms of melee combat, and every time they cycle charge, they are paying a dear price. Yeah, while the Peasant Long Spears, these guys ate a scrap earlier as well, so that was not great. And yeah. A lot of these archers are just standing around on the very far end, not exactly doing much. Okay, so this is probably where a more major mistake was made. So Jade Lances being piled onto this side. You can see there is nothing supporting these Jade Lances. Zhao Ming might kind of count, but other than that, the units over here, Crypt Horrors and all that, are just stuck in melee, but they're not actually taking any damage. There's no peasant archers firing in. So in terms of sheer melee combat, they can easily beat up the horses. With so many bodies and AP values and all that around, the archers aren't shooting at targets that actually matter. They need to kill the Crypt Horrors, they need to shoot the Grave Gods with great weapons and all that, and the Emperor's Crowmen are just charging into anti-infantry Grave Gods as well. And yeah, the Grave Gods aren't taking a lot of efficient damage. A lot of these Jade Warriors also sitting around at the back doing nothing. Yep, which is what allowed the... Yeah, these Jade Lancers are fighting without any infantry support. If the Jade Warriors are here fighting with them, the Jade Lancers will have a much easier time to retreat from the engagement and circle around and maybe do some hammer and anvil. But right now, they're just kind of fighting alone in this little pocket here and getting ground down, which is not great. And Scab still doing good damage to the Jade Warriors. Really nice use of the AoE damage from Deck Ninja there. And GG to both players. Alright, cool. We are moving on to the next battle. Skavens versus Tomb Kings. Interesting. Joy Boy here. As always, going Skaven with a Kick Claw. I think most of the time I see Joy Boy, he's playing Skaven of some form. And interesting enough, bringing Ashen Triads, which is not exactly a bad choice here. They do great AP anti-large damage, and if they can manage to surround the enemy constructs, they can hack them down pretty fast. The problem is if they can do it, because yeah, they can take damage quite easily, and if they get stuck on top of skeletons, this is not going to be cost efficient. But either ways, let us just check out the army composition of both sides. For the Skavens, the front line of Clan Reds, some of them with spears, some of them without, but all of them has shields, I believe. Yep. Storm Vermin, 2 units of them. These guys are really good these days. And 2 Ashen Triads with a bunch of Night Runners for some skirmishing firepower, especially good for screening out skeleton horses. Red Ogres for some monstrous support. And are there anything else? Nothing else. A Kick Claw leading the army with the Dwarfing Menace accompanying him, already eating a bit of a Spirit Leech on his Doom Wheel though, as the other side does have Arcane the Black. Anyways, Brass Orb, Warp Lightning, and Flensing Ruin for the abilities and items. No unlimited power, which is a pretty wise move since you don't want to take extra damage when your opponent can already do you some guaranteed damage with Spirit Leech against you. On the other side, for the Tomb Kings, they are going for a defensive formation of Skeleton Warriors in the front line, and they will be supported by Bone Giant and Chosen of the Gods for some long-range artillery. Unfortunately, Bone Giant unleashing the shot and straight into a tree, so wasting a bit of ammo there. A better option is probably to deploy the Bone Giant over here and start shooting, because if you look at the map here, oh shit, sorry. You can see that a Bone Giant looking over the enemy army will have a good chance of getting blocked by multiple trees over here and over here. But if the Bone Giant stands over here, he will have a much cleaner shot onto the Skaven formation. But of course, he himself will be more exposed to enemy firepower, so it's a bit of a hit or miss, depending on your opponent's army build. Ushapti with melee weapons in the front line. Oh, here comes a Brass Orb onto some Skeleton Warriors. And then at the back there, Skeleton Spears, providing even more bodies for the enemy, for the army. Just rewatched the Elspeth game, couldn't believe I dropped that one after karate chopping a kid early. Ah well, sometimes it happens. Like, you sometimes can get a really good catch, but unfortunately the rest of the army got crushed and advantage got reversed or something like that. It does happen. So it's more about like it's more about practicing and just noticing and keeping those opportunities, and yeah, securing your advantage throughout the game. But yeah, as you play more, and you'll definitely get more of the hang of it, and it will be easier for you to exploit those opportunities and whatnot. Anyways, a little bit of the Dwarfing Man is doing really good damage, plowing straight through the Skeleton Warriors, while Flensing Ruin doing some nice direct damage to Arcane the Black. The problem is what can kill the Sphinx of Uskev. Another shot from the Bone Giant, multiple shots onto Ikit so far with the massive magical bow. So Ikit really needs to stay behind some trees and not getting blasted to smithereens by those by the Bone Giant. Anyways, the Skaven front line are doing alright. As they do have some Storm Vermin providing some solid support. And here comes some Carrion. I missed out on in terms of army builds. Anyways, Ashen Triads are coming in to countercharge the Carrion. They do have some pretty good attack stats. 30 attack, pretty decent. And should be able to screen out those Harpies with their Nightrunner fire support. The problem is the front line here. A lot of these Skavens are just buckling. Once their friends route, they themselves will also route. It's going to be chain route in front line, especially when the Sphinx of Uskev is providing the terror presence. Bricking those Skavens early. Storm Vermins though will hold on, and they do have some pretty solid melee stats to grind through skeleton infantry. And Ashen Triads, if they can get a surround onto the Sphinx of Uskev, this would be nice, but right now they are too busy screening out Carrions and whatnot. Ikit Claw continues to stay the hell away from the enemy formation, doesn't want to get hit by the Bone Giant, so the Bone Giant are turning around to shoot at the Dwarfing Manizig instead. It's kind of gonna be a one-shot one-kill scenario, as they don't have a lot of models. And oh boy, the Sphinx of Uskev is coming in and smashing these Dwarfing Manas, while the rest of the Skaven lines are kind of just buckling. Even the Storm Vermin are routing due to the nearby presence of the Sphinx Terror. And Ikit Claw back there is still in a bit of trouble, being surrounded, swarmed by Carrions, but he is doing just fine actually. He should be able to deal with the Carrion with the anti-infantry bonus, being on a hamster wheel. But yeah, otherwise the Skavens are holding okay in the front line. Now the Storm Vermins are just grinding through Skeleton Spears. They will thrive in that kind of engagement. And Comrade Spears are just trying to occupy those Chosen of the Gods here. But Spears are here. Skeleton Spears are here to screen. Arcane the Black getting skirmished down a bit by the Night Runners. But here comes the Sphinx and coming in to smash those Night Runners. But oh, nice! The Ashen Triads are coming in. I really like these Ashen Triads. Just an aggressive halberd infantry, but the splash attack is putting a dent in their HP pool for sure from the Sphinx of Uskev. But the Ashen Triads can still do some good damage if they can land a hit. Looks like they're not landing a hit for some reason, and will be forced to pull back for now. Damn, the Sphinx of Uskev is doing so much damage to the Ashen Triads. That's the problem. They don't have a lot of HP. They only have 72 unit models. And they're just regular Skavens, so not the most HP in the world. And yeah, they just take a lot of damage very easily, especially when the Sphinx have magical attacks bypassing their physical resistance. And yeah, in the front line, otherwise, the Skeleton Spears are being steadily grind down by the sheer numbers of Clan Rat and the quality of Storm Vermin. And the Bone Giant is also rather occupied right now in melee combat. This would be a good time for another Flensing Ruin onto Arcane. But where is Ikit? Ikit is still back there. Getting Spirit Leech to death. I guess Arcane decided it's actually worth it to just drop an Overcast spell to just make sure he finishes off Ikit. So yeah, Ikit is not having a good time from the Spirit Leeches. If he can actually get close and return the favor with some Flensing Ruin, that would be nice. But right now, those Red Ogres are getting absolutely smashed to pieces by the Red Ogres and Sphinx of Uskev being hunted down. It would be nice for the Ashen Triads to just turn around and go fight those Shaptis. Well, these Storm Vermins here are still trying to catch up with the enemy monsters. And Ikit, yeah, he's probably... Oh, wait. Spirit Leech onto the Storm Vermin? That might have been a mistake. That would definitely be better to just go into Ikit Claw, but looks like that was a bit of a slight waste of magic. While the Sphinx and the Shaptis will be dragged into a fight against Elite Halberds. Ashen Triads needs to come over here and help out, while the Bone Giant has been occupied by a bunch of melee units for the longest of time and being shot by Gutter Runners, so yeah, taking some damage as well. Flensing Ruin finally against Arcane the Black, but Arcane is almost time for another Spirit Leech against Ikit. Can he put it out before Arcane is no longer in range? To cast a Spirit Leech. Anyways, Flensing Ruin and the Night Runner Fire is doing a bit of a number on Arcane the Black, so it's a trade of direct damage spells. We'll do a bit of fast forward here. Actually, never mind. We still have quite a bit of action going here. And yeah, Arcane the Black just not having a good time. Surrounded by Dwarfing Menace this time. A lot of melee units nearby to threaten him. Especially now the halberds are in, surrounded by a bunch of red ogres as well, taking a bunch of damage. Arkan dies, partly due to the crumbling as well, being overwhelmed by enemy targets. And then now the bone giant is stuck to shoot at some poor red runners. And yeah, this might just be a Skaven victory at this point, since Arkan the Black, unfortunately, not able to finish off a kit. He's still just roaming around, like right outside of the range of Arkan the Black, unable to drop that Spirit Leech onto a Kid Claw. That gave a Kid Claw the kind of leverage to just stay alive and allow the rest of the armies to roll over the enemy monsters in melee missile formation. Yeah, Ashen Triads surrounding the Sphinx of Uskav managed to drag them down in the fight. Interesting stuff. Interesting battle there for sure. I would say the Bone Giant, despite the Bone Giant did some pretty good damage. It's just unfortunately not getting a whole lot of. Yeah, it's just unfortunately they weren't able to kill off a Kid Claw, and the skeleton infantry. Yeah, the Storm Vermins are very cost effective these days, and they can just grind through a ton of skeleton warriors. All the Carrions, I suppose they were brought in to silence missiles. Unfortunately, they just don't really have a purpose in this scenario, as there's no good missiles for them to disrupt. They can try to pressure the Night Runners, but they will get kited, and on top of that, Night Runners, Gutter Runners are okay melee combatants and actually can hold their own in melee combat against the Carrions. And the Gutter Runners, as you can see, did some really solid damage value, shooting at the expensive target like the Bone Giant and Arkan the Black. And yeah, just doing some good skirmishing work. Yeah, on the other side for the Tomb Kings, Arkan the Black and the Sphinx of Uskav, despite being such a good unit, it's just not exactly great against Skavens. There's not a lot of large targets to kill. The best target for them to fight today here is definitely a Kit and the Dwarfing Menace. Just that, well, those are not exactly the most expensive target to fight. And yeah, it's been just roaming around trying to smash Skaven chaff all over the place. But that is not how you earn back the value and all that. And once they are forced to fight in the middle of halberds, yeah, these monster units will lose their advantage. And yeah, very nice army pick from the Skaven actually. I like the Ashen Triads and the Storm Vermins. The Ashen Triads didn't do that much value, unfortunately, but they were just a nice reactive halberd. They are relatively fast compared to other halberd infantry, especially when you're comparing to heavy halberds like the Storm Vermin, right? So they can quickly maneuver into position and screen out units like Carrions and whatnot. So I like them a lot. They're like an aggressive halberd unit that can also be like a quick response unit. So yeah. But yeah, Bone Giant did a lot of damage against a Kit and just sniping out Dwarfing Menace and perhaps some Red Ogres as well. But unfortunately, just too many Skavens grinding through the skeletons. That didn't really do much here. And yeah, the Red Ogres combined with Skaven infantry can punch down skeletons pretty easily. And Dwarfing Menace, man, they just plowed through those skeletons like nobody's business. And yeah, that is another battle. Now this is Corhel Cross Age versus Beautiful. This is a Lizardmen versus Warriors of Chaos, where the Lizards are going for a very blobby build with a touch of Salamanders. We shall see here. Oh, actually, let me just check. We have more replays coming in, so let me just go and download some more replay files. Yeah, we have a lot more replays. Okay. But yeah, those of you who are watching, it would be great if you can hit the like button in the down below. It would be really helpful to the channel, and also great for algorithm and all that, because YouTube loves stats, and the bigger the numbers, the better the channel / video and whatever content it will be. So I would really appreciate you guys if you can hit the like button down below. Anyways, for the army builds now over here, we have the Lizardmen going for a rather blobby build, Saurus Spears and a bunch of Saurus Warriors, and then they're backed up by the Star Chamber Guardians. There's also the Legion of Chakra, which comes in with a 40% missile resistance boost for surrounding units. So makes them rather tanky against enemy missiles, but I feel like that would be a bit of a mistake in this situation. You don't really need to pay extra for the Legion of Chakra in this matchup, because you're investing a bunch of money on the Shield of Chakra, right? But against Chaos Warriors of Chaos, they don't have that much missiles other than maybe say these throwing axes. So it's not gonna be generating a whole lot of value for you, because you're realistically only gonna use it to maybe help the Shredder out for a bit. And there's not a lot of big missile burst damage that can kill you. Instead, these Marauder Horsemen will be trickling their damage in throughout most of the battle. And a temporary boost to missile resistance isn't going to help too much. Anyways, for that aside, we have the Bastillodon Solar Engine, Shredder of Lustria, and the Salamander Hunting Pack, led by a Slamage Priest of Life with only regrowth to heal the big monster pieces. On the other side, for the Warriors of Chaos, the front line of Marauders mixed in with the Severed Claw, some elite anti-large halberds, and Chaos Trolls armored version for some monstrous infantry mass, I guess, and the Summoners of Rage. Haven't seen these guys in a while, as Dragon Ogres aren't that meta, unfortunately, for now. So yeah, but still, with a lot of these kind of melee anti-large prowess, that might be really good against the Shredder if they can get us around. We shall see here, because getting us around against the Shredder is quite hard, as it can just plow through anything in front of him. Anyways, Marauders and some Chaos Warriors, very elite, relatively elite infantry here, and this guy's leading the army of Valkia the Bloody here. What is the spellcaster? There is a Metal Chaos Sorcerer with Final Transmutation and Forbidden Rod for more Winds of Magic. Definitely a decent choice here. If they can get a Final Transmutation when the Lizardmen are blobbed up, it would be really good. But anyways, other than that, let us just begin the battle. As the Shredder decided to just park right in front of the Marauders and start darting it with the machine gun blow dots, while the Bastillodon with Solar Engine also blasting away at the Chaos Warriors, using the artillery missile to its advantage, blasting away a few unit models of Chaos Warriors here and there, while the throwing axes are cautiously advancing. Oh, that might be a bit of a forest camping. Don't do that. Yeah, let me just check who's the... I don't know who's the... I didn't really memorize the player names here, but don't do that. You don't want to do that in with tournament rule sets and all that, because this counts as forest camping if you just sit in the forest not doing shit, and this will be counted as a rule break. But anyways, let us just fast forward here as the Bastillodon decided to just unleash firepower against the enemy skirmishing cavalry. Oh wait, no, we're in Conquest. What are we talking about? There's no rules of engagement. They can sit in the forest however they want. Okay, never mind. It's absolutely perfectly legal here, but because they're sitting in the forest, that means they're giving up the Conquest capture point to their enemies, and yeah, that means they're kind of losing the battle in terms of that. Anyways, Final Transmutation covering multiple units, not exactly the best cause. You're hitting someone, Hunting Pack, and Saurus Spears, Saurus Warriors, but it would be way better if you can just cast the spell around here, because you're going to be hitting some expensive targets like the Slamage Priest, like the Bastillodon Solar Engine, Star Chamber Guardians, and even the Shredder of Lustria. But right now, it's still damage, but the problem is that you're not maximizing the damage, and you're losing out a lot of your Winds of Magic value from that. Not exactly exploiting your opponent's mistakes. Still, got some decent damage from that cast. Could have done more, but either way, damage is damage. But other than that, the Shredder of Lustria is absolutely smashing those poor Chaos front line there, especially the dreaded Aversion, easily dropping the leadership of the Chaos Trolls and forcing them to back the hell off. Oh boy, these Marauder Horsemen of Khorne with throwing axes needs to stay the hell out away from the Salamander Hunting Pack, because that's your best bet in taking down the Shredder of Lustria with those AP missiles, outside of using actual anti-large units. Even anti-large melee isn't that good against Shredder, because Shredder just gonna comes in and chomps you in the face and quickly backs off and Psycho Charge again. As you can see here, the Severed Claw being surrounded by Star Chamber Guardians. It's getting quickly hacked down, and yeah, things are not looking too hot for the Warriors of Chaos for sure. Being forced to engage these super elite halberds with their own less numerous halberds. And the front line is just kind of buckling here with the sheer quality of Saurus infantry plus Star Chamber Guardians managed to bring a pretty big lead to the Warriors, to the Lizard army in terms of frontline engagement. Although this time we have a much better final transmutation, hitting the Shredder, hitting the Bastiladon. The Saurus was getting hit earlier as well, but he managed to move out of range. But of course, the Star Chamber Guardian also taking some damage, which is nice. While the Salamander hunting packs have been mostly swarmed and killed by a bunch of Chaos forces. So yeah, you take some, you lose some here. But yeah, overall, the Lizardman is indeed in a rather advantageous position after... Oh, no, wait, sorry. The Warriors of Chaos is in a pretty rough spot right now as their frontline support just keep getting broken off. I wouldn't really bring the Chaos Trolls into this matchup since, well, as you can see here, Terror hits them pretty hard. They don't have the greatest leadership. Yeah, the Chaos Trolls, their base value is 45. That's absolute piss poor leadership. And the Shredder of Lustria alone can take away 8 and then another 4 from Fear. So... okay, there's no fear, but like take away another 8 and then they're down to less than 40 leadership, and it's another a bit of leadership hit from damage and being flanked and whatnot, and then you get a bunch of terror routing trolls. So yeah, definitely not great in terms of trolls against Lizardmen with all the leadership debuffs, and the Saurus are actually holding tenaciously, and while the Shredder is just munching trolls for breakfast. Throwing Axes finally getting in range to start throwing again, but unfortunately this might just be too little too late. And the trolls, these ones route, I think it's a second time now, so these trolls is, I think they routed twice, so if they route in again, they probably will shatter. Yep, there goes the trolls, and then that's gonna be army losses. The blobbed up Lizardman managed to win the day with the Shredder shredding leadership and all. But yeah, Shredder getting some solid value, munching everything pretty much. Munching the trolls, they didn't really have to munch the Summoners of Rage, but the Summoners of Rage was mostly stuck fighting Saurus throughout the game, so wasn't quite able to fight the optimal targets and earn their value. Severed Claw unfortunately being surrounded by the Star Chamber Guardians. Equally elite, if not even more elite, with their solid fighting prowess. The Star Chamber Guardians can actually easily beat down the Severed Claw, despite them being specifically anti-large infantry, just because they have good armor-piercing value, good melee stats, and then just more numbers to surround and overwhelm the Severed Claw. Severed Claw, great for surrounding, beating down monsters, or cutting down cavalry, but yeah, against armor-piercing infantry being swarmed, the Severed Claw is going to be in a rough spot for that. Other than that, the Saurus held really well against the Marauder Infantry and even against the Chaos Warriors, and buying more time for the Shredder and the Bastiladon to pretty much just the Shredder doing all the work, and maybe the Star Chamber Guardians as well. Yeah, GG to both players, and yeah, we are going into another game here, Teen versus Vampire Coast. Yep. Alright, excuse me for that. Was Fabrosi on one side. Okay, I forgot to check names. That was definitely my bad. Let me just quickly check the replay files in the back end and make sure I got the games. Okay, cool. I've got a lot more games coming in. Actually, let me just load up. I actually need to load up the tournament. Tournament page on Total Tavern just to see how goes the tournament. Haven't been keeping track on the battle progress, and I need to kind of get a rough estimate on. Okay, so a couple more. Okay, and one more. I think most of the battles got sent in over here, maybe. Yeah, we got quite a few battles coming in. Anyways, yeah, I think we've got over half of our battles sent in. Now let's just have a look at the army builds over here. This is in the first round, Fabrosi versus Arios. Ariosthorn? Yeah. Not sure how to pronounce it, but Ariosthorn, I think. Yeah, Ariosthorn on the green Demons of Chaos side, and on the red side we have Vampire Coast led by Fabrosi. Now for the army builds here, the Demons of Chaos going for a front line of blue horrors, very standard stuff there. Second line of pink horrors, once again very standard combo for the Demons of Chaos front line, especially into Vampire Coast, which are rather vulnerable to missile infantry in general, unless if the opponent brings mortars, which I don't see any right now. So yeah, the blue and pink horror warp flame fires will be really good against the Vampire Coast front lines, and then in the skies, Chaos Furies to disrupt enemy shooting, leading the army Exalted Lord of Change of Metal with the Fury summon to get even more Furies, and Searing Doom and Plague of Rust. Plague of Rust actually a pretty good spell if they're trying to deal with crabs. Drop it onto something, say the Lamprey's Revenge, especially the Lamprey's Revenge. Nuke their armor and then watch their HP go down as the fire damage comes in, exploiting the fire weakness of the Lamprey's Revenge regeneration. Even without the fire weakness, it can do good against regular crabs too. For the rest of, yeah, I think that's it for, yeah, that's it. That's it for, oh, hold on. There are some plague drones. Rough flies, even more flyers to disrupt enemy shooting. So going all in on the missile and flyer disruption there. On the other side, for the Vampire Coast, the front line of deckhand mobs, the ones on the flanks with halberds, the rest are just regular ones, and then a few units of handguns and hand cannons. A lot of firepower, but I fear this might actually get out-traded by a bunch of blue horrors, pink horrors shooting in, because they can shoot back, but it will be more cost efficient for especially if these are Teenage horrors, so they have barrier, right? Teenage have barrier and physical resistance to absorb all those AP fire, while they themselves can just use their sheer volume of firepower, 160 models versus 120 over here. So yeah, they can just use their sheer number of models to nuke down these poor lightly armored handguns and hand cannons. Either ways, black spot at the back and some death guards with halberds, more gun mobs. These ones are pistol mobs, and then some gun crabs protecting the rear as well. Deckhand mobs, halberds, and then leading the army, Count Noctilus, of course, and that's it for the army builds. No artillery whatsoever. I'm kind of worried how the Vampire Coast can take down these horrors outside of using Malkovs from Count Noctilus. Yeah, this is a bit of worrying situation here, but let's see if Ariosthorn, let's see if Fabrosi have some kind of secret trick in the pocket. But yeah, anyways, hand cannons here moving up, but they are roughly the same range as blue horrors, and they are not going to trade well against blue horrors, unless I'm wrong, which can very well might be. But anyways, pink horrors, blue horrors will be moving into firing position, unleashing a volley of blue warp flame onto the hand cannons here, putting a dent in their HP bar, while the Change barrier absorb most of the damage from the hand cannon volley, while the pink horrors continues to fire back as well. A nice Searing Doom onto this really blocky formation of the handguns, doing some really good damage. Although Count Noctilus dropped in a pretty nice summon, kind of just choke pointing these blue horrors, clogging them up and preventing them from advancing. But the pink horrors are in range to unleash a volley of a pretty devastating pink warp flame, I reckon. Now, Malkovs are going down on those Furies, trying to drain away their hit points and allow the halberds to finish them easier, and also Invocation of the Hack to heal up these pretty damaged handguns and hand cannons. But these handguns are getting hit by fire because of the warp flame effect, so they themselves are taking quite a bit of damage. A little bit of a Wraith Storm trying to hit these pink horrors, but they are basically absorbing most of that damage once again with the Change barrier. the front line here. The deckhand mobs are not pushing up, which might have been a mistake. Just allowing these pink horrors to sit back and keep firing. These deckhand mobs really need to just keep push out and trying to put that melee pressure onto the blue horrors and pink horrors. Otherwise, the pink horrors and blue horrors can just sit back like that and just keep shooting away at the missiles. And when the missiles goes down, the rest of there's no agency for the Vampire Coast army. They can only sit there and getting shot. And at that point, even if they try to push out with the Vampire deckhand mobs, they will just simply get kited by all these pink and blue horrors. Anyways, yeah, definitely would have been better if the Vampire Coast army has a bit of artillery presence, just to put some more pressure onto these pink and blue horrors. But right now, handguns obviously can't outrange enemy blue and pink horrors. I mean, can't outshoot blue and pink horrors. Perhaps I would say just bring a ton of pistol mob frontline would have been a good choice as well, because they have roughly the same range as the blue horrors, so they can just directly trade fire with the blue and pink. Directly trade fire with the blue horrors, plus a bit of a, plus just maybe. Actually, I think deck gunners. Surprising enough, deck gunners don't usually see a lot of play, but deck gunners might be good against. In my experience, have been doing some pretty good work against demon horror spams. Because the deck gunners can do penetrating damage, so it can hit one shot, can hit multiple models at once and punch through the entire formation. They can quickly clear out missile infantry, and they outrange missile infantry as well. So kind of nullifying the range advantage of the pink horrors over usual pistol mobs. And then you can have a bunch of pistol mobs for screening, and then just to keep those blue horrors at bay while the deck hunters pick off those pink horrors. Yeah, that would be a slightly better choice. I wouldn't advise using any gun bats, but yeah. Other than that, it's just mop-up action where the pink and blue horse methodically pick off all these slow-moving, slow-marching zombie-powered deckhand mobs. They're still marching up, and the horrors are running low in terms of HP, in terms of ammo, but especially some of them are even dragged into combat. But other than that, yeah, everything just got shot to death pretty much. Wait, how did the you might rewind a bit just to see how did the Lamprey's Revenge die. If I don't think that would be a too much of a spectacle. It's probably just gonna be focus fire from pink horrors plus Plague of Rust nuking its armor. And yeah, let's just quickly go back and check it out again. Excuse me for a second there. And let me just hydrate a bit. Alright, cool. Let's just fast forward. But yeah, personally, I would probably cut out all of these handgun mobs. You don't really want to bring them. And cut out the hand cannons as well, and just bring a bunch of pistol mobs to trade against, to screen the blue horrors and whatnot. Lamprey's Revenge, yeah, there we go. Lamprey's Revenge getting hit by a Plague of Rust and nothing firing. Yeah, here comes the fire, focus fire, and just see how the HP goes down with every volley. But yeah, there's not much to say about this battle. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just a pink horror, keep firing in, pick off the handguns, hand cannons, and although some of these chromatic abominations and stuff got dragged into melee fight by the rotting Prometheans over here, so they weren't able to use their ammo, which is a shame. But either ways, yeah, with Plague of Rust and just sheer amount of firepower, you can easily take down gun crabs through that. Now the deckhand mobs are marching up to pick a fight in melee, and with their sheer numbers they can probably get some damage done, but yeah. Very nice Searing Doom all over the place as well, just trying to thin out those death gods as well. and now allowing the blue horse and pink horse to just focus down the Death Gods, cutting down their healing as well. The Death Gods having the hunger is a key aspect of their survival in combat. They're not that tanky as far as elite melee infantry goes, and kind of relies on the hunger to keep them alive. But with being lit on fire means that they got their healing halved, and of course that means they won't be able to tank as much damage. Yeah, the Death Gods did quite a bit of work here, screening out the Furies and then just cutting down horrors and whatnot. And they were kind of like the last hope for the Vampire Coast to win this, but allies with that much pink horror and blue horror firepower, yeah, it's inevitable for these Death Gods to get worked down eventually. They're just getting crossfired to death while getting stuck on a bunch of blue horrors in melee. Yeah. And yeah, there are still some really healthy pink and blue horrors standing around, which allows them to just tank, just maybe grind through the enemy infantry with some psycho charging from the Lord of Change as well. But we have another dozen more replays to come in and to go through. So yeah, we will be moving on to the other replays. Let me just take a quick hydration break, and then we can keep working on with the rest of the replays. All right, cool. Let me just quickly check. Yep, definitely more than a dozen replay just came in, so let's load it up. Oh boy. Let's just delete the stuff we cast earlier, and then oh boy, we do have quite a few replays to go through. I assume some of these might be duplicates. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, I don't think we've... Although, a lot of players are using a similar build every time. So, interesting to see. Okay, this is... Hold on. Yeah, this might be the same... This might be the same... Okay, this might be the same replay. Just to make sure we don't have much duplicate replays here. Oh, no. Chaos versus... Chaos versus, Vampire Counts. That's not gonna end well. But yeah, a lot of players are using a similar army build throughout the battles. Definitely a good choice here, just to familiarize yourself with the army build, and specifically that faction, and then before moving on to learning more nuances of other factions and all that. Now let's just jump into the battlefield this time. Grimgore once again, coming in with an Hot Fiery Potato. Really has something about Grimgore, actually. Corvus Glaive on the other side for Khorne, with Valkia the Bloody here. Alright. Alright, hold on. Let's slow down a bit there before we yeah, let's slow down a bit there before we are done with the yeah, before we are going into the army builds. Now for the army builds here, Grimgore Ironhide leading an army with a lot of big and nasty boys, these orc biguns, supported with a centerpiece of the Crimson Killers, a regiment of renowned Black Orcs with splash damage. And also immune to psychology. Well, all Black Orcs have immune to psychology. So yeah, anyways. Interesting front line here, actually. Big Guns plus Squid Herds. Big Guns does have really good weapon strength, even discounting for the anti-large. And combined with the anti-large, it can smash monsters pretty easily. And then the Squid Herds have anti-infantry. So it's a very expensive investment into the front line. And I assume this is what Hot Fiery Potato is hoping for, to smash the enemy front line. Actually out-corning Khorne in terms of frontline fight, I guess. Anyways, on the flanks we have some Goblin Wolf Rider archers, 4 of them in fact. Hot Fiery Potato really liking these non-poison skirmish cav. Anyways, at the back there are some Orc boys with spears, supported by Orc Air boys, leading the army Grimgore Ironhide with your Nyx, Gitsnik, Bloodforge armor, and best of the best, and stand your ground and get back here. Double leadership, double leadership buff. While there's also Giant River Trohack here, providing that Spirit Leech, and no Fate of Buna. Okay. On the other side for the Khorne army, a front line of Marauders of Khorne, backed up by more Marauders with dual weapons this time on the flanks, Flesh Hounds of Khorne, and a bunch of Minotaurs, a single Cultist of Khorne, the Blood Altar, Blood Shrine of Khorne. And in disguise, we have Valkia the Bloody here, with Spear Slopnir and Demon Shield. Well, the Cultist, does he have Bloodletter Summon? Gate of Khorne, yep, Bloodletter Summon is here. So, yeah, anyways, that's it for the army builds. Wait, these are Minotaurs of Khorne, so dual weapon ones, making them better against infantry, but not so good against monsters. These ones with great weapons, okay, these ones are anti-large, these ones are just anti-infantry. So, yeah, I guess these Minotaurs of Khorne will be good against the Black Orcs. But yeah, otherwise the Biggins plus Quick Hurts can easily beat these Marauder front line here. And Crimson Killers, they are very strong. They have really good melee stats, 50 attack. Even without anti-attack, they can cleave, they can punch down some Minotaurs. But they themselves getting countercharge is not going to be a good situation. Taking quite a bit of impact damage from those Minotaurs. But Quick Hurts are now reinforcing the front line against those Marauders and trying to eat up some of those Marauder infantry. A nice Spear Slopnir there, blasting away some Orc Biggins and Squig Hurts, while the Flesh Hounds have circled around with no mobility to defend the backline. These Orc Airboys are ripe for slaughter. Now, what's happening in the front line? Even with the Minotaurs smashing the Crimson Killers are fighting back hard, putting a huge dent in the HP bar of these Minotaurs of Khorne, and the Marauders are getting killed pretty hard as well, while the Biggins plus Squigs are... oh, okay, these ones are not doing too hot, being cut through by the Blood Shrine and the Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons with their anti-infantry bonus, but otherwise, the Biggins and Squig combined can easily beat Marauders. Although there's a bunch of rear charging coming in from Flesh Hounds as well, equalizing the fight a bit. While Grimgore Ironhide is going up against Valkia and a lot of Minotaurs. Now Minotaurs with great weapons have anti-large, but Grimgore, despite his obviously larger than the horse size visually, he's actually still an infantry lord. So the great weapon variant doesn't actually do anything with the anti-large. Anyways, the skirmishing cavalry are trying to skirmish, trying to shoot at the nearest Flesh Hounds, but not doing a whole lot here so far. Some of them even got chased down over to the corner and got routed away. These ones are still firing. There are only 3 Wolf Rider archers still holding on for now, unfortunately. And let's see how well their skirmishing can do against Khorne army here. But either way, Crimson Killers, despite their most valiant attempt in fighting back, they were still trading poorly into anti-infantry monsters plus infantry chaff helping out. So yeah, they unfortunately got smashed by the Minotaurs and Marauders combined, and the rest of the infantry line are also not going too well for the Biggins and Squigs, as the Flesh Hounds are able to just rear charge them, and then there's also a bunch of support coming in from either the hero or the Blood Shrine, just doing some pretty good work against the enemy infantry. And over here, Spirit Leeching, trying to drain away the health of Valkia and just keep maybe attempt a Lord Snipe. Not doing too hot here for the Greenskins. As this Lord Snipe is kind of like a Hail Mary attempt, actually. But yeah. Spear Slopnir going down onto some skirmishing cavalry. Not the best use of the ability. Probably better to go into these Orc boys with spears. But either ways, Squigs coming in to surround the enemy units, going for a rear charge and supporting Grimgore Ironhide, who has been fighting in here for pretty much the entire time. And but yeah, the rest of the army is going down for the Greenskins. It's pretty much very canon to the Grimgore experience. He is fighting. He basically fights on till the end. He never gets defeated. The problem is his army gets smacked, and he just gets bored and decided to get out of the and return and just not come back. That's how you deal with Grimgore. Kill his army. He'll fight to the end, but it doesn't matter when the rest of his boys are gone, right? But yeah, with the Minotaurs, the Flesh Hound rear charge and the Blood Shrine support and Bloodluster summon over here. Yeah, the sheer number of Marauders as well just help to equalize the quality advantage against the of the Biggin plus Squig Herd front line there. So yeah, that shall be a Khorne victory. It's very hard to wait. Have we seen a Wa? I don't think I've seen a Wa anytime throughout the. Wait, where was the Wa? I don't think I've seen a Wa in this battle so far. That might be one of the problems here. Yeah, let me just quickly go through the battle again. I just need to spot whether there's a Wa happening in the middle of battle. Because sometimes when I was still learning to play greenskins, I always forget to like pop the Wa. And as a result, I lose out on a very important faction buff. So yeah, that was not great. But yeah, Biggins theoretically should smash. Okay, so Biggins theoretically should smash regular Marauders, but dual weapon Marauders helps out a lot. And on top of that, the fear of the Blood Shrine does lower the leadership of the Biggins, so that definitely helps as well. But yeah, Minotaurs smashing Biggins with the help of Marauders of Khorne. So these guys took some pretty big damage and all that. And yeah, looks like Biggins aren't actually that good. I take back what I said. Theoretically, they can fight for a long time. Okay, we did see a Wa at least. They tried to fight back, but unfortunately, despite their original advantage, not quite able to deal with rear charges from Flesh Hounds. And there's just nothing to protect the backline, nothing to protect the Arab boys. Which is why you usually, when you see a greenskin army, you don't really see them bringing an archer backline. You just see a bunch of skirmishing cavalry, because skirmishing cavalry doesn't need protection at the backline. And you can just invest everything else into like melee attacking units, like Orc Boar Biggins and stuff. If there are Orc Boar Biggins, that would probably work better in this situation. Instead of getting an expensive front line like the Orc Biggins, just cut them out and bring goblins and just grab more goblins. And at the same time, using the saved up funds to invest in some Orc Boar Biggins to help you screen out the Flesh Hounds can actually help you protect the air front line, air back line, and then use the air back line to shoot the Minotaurs. And at the same time, if you manage to deal with the Flesh Hounds, you can just throw in those Orc Boar Biggins against the Minotaur threat and just pin them down and just let the airs keep shooting. Plus, you will have more infantry that way, instead of getting some very expensive, relatively elite Orc Biggins. I've never seen Grimgor in a tournament that I can remember. Yep, because Grimgor sucks. He is a Foot Lord, which means he really struggles to catch up with anything mounted or monstrous. And like Foot Duelist Lords simply can't be where they're supposed to be. They can't catch up with their targets. Like, if their opponent is bringing a caster character, they would just keep running away from the Foot Fighter Lord. And that means the Foot Fighter Lord can't actually do what they're supposed to do, character sniping. So yeah, you don't really see Foot Fighter Lords in general. And yeah, even with the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers are just not doing too much in this situation. I guess they could have been used more aggressively to skirmish with Flesh Hounds of Khorne, but they can't challenge them in melee, which means the Flesh Hounds are free to just intrude into the backline and run down all the archers, and then switch their targets either to rear charging the infantry front line and apply some leadership debuff, or just keep pressuring the Wolf Rider archers. And yeah, it is a pretty rough time for a expensive frontline like Orc Biggins. Yeah, anyways, next battle, Tomb Kings versus Vampire Counts. Interesting. Let me just grab some water. Dak Ninja once again going for Vladdy Daddy von Carstein. And the build is rather similar. I am quite worried with this build actually this time once again. Whether they can deal with those Tomb Kings monster. But we shall see. Army builds here. We have a front line of zombies, second line of grave gods mixed in with some skeletons. And then we have some, once again, Black Knights with lances and barding. Dire Wolves on the far side already getting skirmished by, kited by the skeleton horse archers. Felbets floating in the skies, and some Vanguard deployed crypt ghouls ready to go for a flanking maneuver. But yeah, unfortunately, they don't have the greatest melee stats. 32 attack is decent against skeletons, I guess, but skeleton spears have 30 melee defense, so they still have a good chance of just holding their own against the crypt ghouls. They don't have to kill the crypt ghouls, they just need to buy enough time for the rest of the constructs to do their job, right? So yeah, I reckon the crypt ghouls will still struggle to break through the skeletons and disrupt the back line. Either ways, Vlad leading the army. Mortis Engine, something you never want to bring into the Tomb Kings matchup. A big centerpiece that is also super fragile, like the Mortis Engine, is just prime target for Ushabti sniping or Bone Giant in this scenario. It is not fast enough to dodge shots, so it can easily get sniped out by artillery firepower. And yeah, it's probably gonna get sniped out. Anyways, for Vlad, once again, Winds of Death, Invocation of the Hag, no zombie summon, Master of Beguilement. And yeah, just the usual Blood Drinker and no Karstein Ring, just Blood Drinker. Oh, and Aura of Dark Grandeur. I don't think you can take this off. I don't think you can take this off Vlad, so yeah, but otherwise it's not going to be useful against Tomb Kings anyways. There's also the Corpse Cult with Unholy Lodestone this time, bringing in the regeneration for nearby targets, but this is still going to be rough. On the far side there, for the Tomb Kings army, 4 units of Skeleton Horse Archers already kiting those Dire Wolves to death. Main formation, Skeleton Infantry in the front lines, Skeleton Warriors in the front line, Skeleton Spears at the back, a core of a ton of expensive monsters, Chosen of the Gods, and Bone Giant. Sphinx of Uzkev as well, led by Grand Hierophant Ketept, with Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance to drain down enemy cavalry, specifically, I guess, Blood Knight. Neru's Incantation of Protection, which is also good, considering that most of the important vampire units don't have magic attacks. Well, excluding the Banshee right over here, but otherwise the Blood Knights, stuff like Blood Knights and stuff don't have magic attacks, and this will actually be useful to mitigate those anti-large damage. Anyways, Bone Giant unleashing some devastating firepower, or ready to unleash devastating firepower. Chosen of the Gods also ready to just shoot down that Mortis Engine, and Ushabti melee version at the background. Anyways, the Grand Hierophant Ketept here does shoot. Oh, Jabs Incantation of Curse Blade. Nice spell as well. Oh, there's no. Oh, okay. Might be a little bit of a mistake. Hierophant Ketept didn't bring his item that prolongs enemy cooldown. So that would have been really nice in disrupting those vampire healing. And as you can see here, Mortis Engine already have a dent in their HP bar, thanks to the Chosen of the Gods and the Bone Giant. Now turning around to once again fire at the Mortis Engine, while over here, Black Knight somehow managing to catch up with the Skeleton Horse Archers. That is rather peculiar, but I guess the charge acceleration managed to bridge their 4 speed differences. Although the problem is still, like, the Mortis Engine, a big expensive piece of construct, is just probably get sniped out. And anyways, on the side here, oh no! The Dire Pack should switch over to catch these Horse Archers, but instead they let them go. Now the Horse Archers are just turning around, slipping through the grasp of the Dire Pack. In the front line, the zombies are just gonna clash into the Skeleton Infantry, and it's just not gonna do a whole lot here. It's just wet noodling each other. That sounds a bit wrong, but anyways, Crypt Ghouls are hiding on the side. They definitely should be moved out to start pressuring the enemy formation, because right now all these reserves are ready to just commit into countering the enemy charge of a ton of infantry here. But perhaps perhaps with the help of some Winds of Death, the undead can try to break through. But right now, Sphinx of Uzkev is absolutely handing it to Vlad. Vlad is taking a lot of damage despite fighting an anti-large combatant. Of course, the anti-large combatant does have 61 attack, while Vlad doesn't. Yeah, only 50 melee defense. So, yeah, very consistent hits from the Sphinx of Uzkev, nuking the HP bar of Vlad despite his Blood Drinker healing. Also, Blood Drinker healing will be mitigated by the on fire effect if the Sphinx of Uskav actually manages to land a hit, though he seems to be failing a few hits so far. Anyways, after the skeleton horse archer is being dealt with by the dire packs and the dire wolves and the black knights, they're actually managing to reconverge onto the main formation here. Finally, the crypt ghouls are getting activated, and they'll be swarming that undead back line. Although the Mortis engine is dead, I think. Yeah, the Mortis engine is still here, as the Bone Giant was a little bit busy shooting something else, like Vlad von Carstein. Okay, and yeah, it's just a lot of mobility units for the Tomb Kings to deal with actually right now, and this might be a bit of a problem. And now the Mortis engine is here to just slowly drain down the health of the skeleton infantry while the crypt ghouls are moving in. Okay, the reserve delay activation of the crypt ghouls is actually worth it this time, actually. Now they are committed into the backline engagements, occupying the spears and delivering a coordinated strike with the Black Knights here. And there are only so many skeleton spears, and they can only be at so many places, and they can't deal with every single threat at once. So very nice move from the Tomb King's player here, and now the from the Vampire Accounts player here, and the Tomb Kings are in a bit of a disarray at the backline and not quite able to coordinate a defense against all these swarms of relatively fast Vampire Accounts units. Mortis engines also managed to heal up quite a bit using its regeneration trait. But yeah, the Sphinx of Uskav is still fighting in the mix, and it might be a good use to just bring it over and start chopping down the Mortis engine here. But yeah, Ushapti, these are the summons, so they will be disappearing soon, and they need to start recharging on these skeleton warriors and whatnot to do some more charge impact damage here. Or at least that would be nice, to say the least. And Ushapti is over here. These are the permanent ones, are trashing some poor crypt ghouls, and while the Sphinx of Uskav decided to move out of the blob fight and smash some grave gods in the front line. But being hit by Master of Beguilement, it's not doing the most damage in the world here, down to 21 attack. So yeah, struggling to do damage for now. Very nice maneuver from the undead player, Dak Ninja here. Psycho charging with the Black Knights, ping-ponging around different units and doing damage to the lightly armored skeletons wherever they go. Once again, an incantation of Curse Blades boosting the damage value of the skeleton spears. Interesting. I'll probably use a Naruto's incantation of protection to just keep them alive longer in this situation, but I think that's not too bad, I guess. It can dish out more damage against the Black Knights and the Crypt Ghouls, but either ways, things are looking still quite even on both sides here, though the skeleton front line are crumbling for the Tomb Kings as they're being overwhelmed by the psycho charging of the Black Knights and the Grave Gods holding on, being buffed up by double healing from the Corpse Guard of Unholy Lodestone and Mortis Engine, the Reliquary Corruption and the Unholy Lodestone together. That's a whole total of 0.1% HP per second, if I remember correctly. Let me just check. No, that's Reliquary Binding, sorry. 0.1%, 0.1% HP regeneration for surrounding troops, including the Grave Gods. And the Tomb King seems to be faltering as they're running out of infantry support. Very nice maneuver with the Mortis engine there, actually hanging it back out of the Bone Giant's fire range. Just commit the other melee troops into the fight and drag those missile units into melee before activating the Mortis engine in and start draining and committing it to the front line within enemy's reach. And as a result, all the expensive missiles invested onto the Chosen of the Gods and all the Bone Giant and all that just don't really have a good target to fire at. That is the reason why you don't really see Bone Giants in general. Instead, you would see something more like a Sepulchral Stalkers. They would be much more effective in just doing burst damage to large targets in general. And if you want to do damage at range, you have the Ushaptis for that. Hey, Techlodge, is the tournament now over, or is there still a final to come? There's no finals, if I remember correctly. It's supposed to be like a new player tournament that's with a bunch of Swiss rounds, right? I'm not the one organizing the tournament, so I don't know exactly the details, but I think there's only Swiss rounds, so yeah. Anyways, in terms of fight here, the skeleton horse archers. Where have you guys been the whole time? There's not a lot of good targets for the skeleton horse archers to shoot at after all. Yeah, and that will be GG. Perhaps Tomb Guards would be a good. Anyways, very nice use of the Black Knights actually, combined with the skeleton cav. Wait, hold on. What? Okay. Well, combined with the dire wolves, they managed to catch and eliminate quite a few of these horse archers, killing off the skirmishing forces of the Tomb Kings, and the Tomb Kings unable to really, can't really get their value out of their missile pieces here, being dragged into melee by a swarm of undead troops. Zombies, really nice coordinated strike from Dark Ninja actually, committing the zombies to their front line and also the grave guards in the second wave, just occupying the skeleton front line, and then because all the skeletons are occupied, activate the now freed up dire wolves, black knight, and on top of that the delayed activation of crypt ghouls, to just strike at the backline all at the same time. And there are only 3 skeleton spears at the backline, right? So they can only be at so many places at once, not able to protect the 2 missile pieces when there are so many melee threats coming in. And as a result, managed to shut down those Tomb King's missiles, preventing them from firing, and then allowing the Mortis engine to come in and finish off the rest of the skeletons. Plus the Plus, Valifo and Karstan did some pretty good damage against the Sphinx of Uzkev as well. And yeah, GG to both players here. Larry also did some good damage with the Sphinx of Uzkev, just not quite able to carry the game, as Grand Hierophant and Katav definitely should have brought the the cooldown debuff item. Every time you cast a spell, it will take longer for the enemy to cast and to use any abilities, because it's a map-wide cooldown delay, I mean, against enemies. So yeah, and the skeleton infantry, they could have delayed the enemy long enough. They just don't have enough bodies here to hold down all these mobility threats. I wouldn't think the skeleton horse archers are particularly good in this situation, because against the vampire counts, one of the biggest threat is just blood knights, right? And skeleton horse archers can't do jack shit against blood knights. Blood knights have heavy armor, bronze shields, and the flag of the blood keep, so that's a lot of mitigation. Well, the flag of the blood keep provides 25% missile resistance, so that's a lot of tankiness against non-armor piercing missile attacks, which is gonna be the horse archer's thing. So yeah, the horse archer's not gonna do a lot in this kind of scenario. The only good thing about them is you don't really need to dedicate any units to protect them, but in this situation where there are just dire wolves being dedicated to chase them down, they couldn't really get out of there alive. But yeah, GG to both players here. We are moving on to the next battle. Oh, I forgot to mention, the magical attacks of the Sphinx of Uzkev absolutely trashed the Banshee, so that was pretty fun to watch. But yeah, anyways, next battle we have Tic-Tac-Toe. I haven't seen this guy in a while. Well, Corahel Cross H Tic-Tac-Toe with this is pretty much an all skink army. Very thematic here. Skink cohort in the front line. Skink chameleons. No, these are skink chameleon stalkers as a second line, and then this looks like a really fun battle for sure. Chameleon Stalkers, some Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas, and multiple units of River Projectile Riders led by the Master of Disguise himself, Tic-Tac-Toe. And then there are a couple Bastillodons with cheap terror pieces that can plow through Skaven infantry, also immune to any flanking and all that. Yeah, that's it for the main army build. Where is the spellcaster actually? Yep, right here. With Flock of Doom and Curse of Onra Air on the other side of the battlefield for the Skavens. Front line of Skaven Slaves, second line of Halberds. Actually, the Storm Vermins and some Ashen Triads on the flanks, and then one more unit of Clamorate Spears. We have some Doom Flayers as well. Clamorate Spears, more Clamorate Spears. Red Ogres guarding a Zap Zap, ready to shoot down some dinos. Leading the army, Lord Scroak. Haven't seen this guy in a while. Liber Bubonicus and Rod of Corruption, both are very good direct damage items. Pestilent Breath, Vermintide, and that's it for army builds. Let's get the battle started, and I'm going to drink some water. I guess that's right off the bat is already targeting the poor Skink Priest. Zapping him and also giving him some cooldown refresh. Denying him from casting spells anytime soon, I suppose. But yeah, Ripper Tactiles and Tic-Tac-Toe are moving into a flanking position, while the Chameleon Skinks are going straight after the Storm Vermin because they couldn't see the stalking Ashen Triads. After all, they did pop the concealment bombs, and that is gonna come in as a big surprise for the Ashen Triads. Oh boy, I mean, big surprise for the Chameleon Skinks, getting countercharged by the, or intercepted by the Ashen Triads there, unable to use their precursor ammo effectively. Although they did use some of it, I suppose. But yeah, either ways, they are taking a lot of damage from the countercharge of the Doomflayers and the Red Ogres. On the other side, a similar thing is probably going to happen as well. But yeah, anyways, and this guy's here, a nice Rod of Corruption here, draining the health away from the Pteranodon Riders. There's not a lot of missile targets from the... Yeah, and there's no missile units from the Skavens, unfortunately. So the Pteranodon Riders are free to pretty much do whatever they want. As Ikisasa is still very busy zapping the Skink Priest. While over here, Chameleon Stalkers have been routed away. Though the Ripper Dactyls are absolutely swarming this flank, trying to nuke down the Red Ogres and allow more Skinks to start pushing the Skaven backline. But Fire Leech Bola is sitting back and bombing those Storm Vermins. Ripper Dactyls with 3 of them onto 1 Red Ogres. These Red Ogres are not having a good time, even with a Packmaster providing that passive heal. But yeah. Over here for a Bastillodon, tying down the Storm Vermins, just blobbing up the Storm Vermin so that the Fire Leech Bolas can have a better time shooting at their enemies. And yeah. Wait, did they use their rocks? Hold on. Oh, they already used their rocks. Okay. No more rock drops. These guys still have their rocks, so okay. Alright, cool. Anyways, yeah. Ashen Triads though surrounding the Reaper Dactyl Riders. Now they can do some good damage to these large targets with their anti-large and pretty decent offensive stats also. The Armor Sundering isn't going to come in anything useful, but damage is damage, right? Climber Spears also providing a lot of body support on the other side, so it's pretty much another slugfest. As the Climber Spears and Red Ogres are piling on top of each other, making a perfect target for the Fire Leech Bolas to exploit. Also for the Chameleon Skinks. These Chameleon Stalkers manage to circle around and now find and Ikigzaps are very much exposed. And we'll try to shut down on that Skaven artillery. Though, oh, now the Skaven artillery is targeting... Oh, wait, what the fuck happened to the Packmaster? It just died. I guess it got gooned down by Tic-Tac-Toe and a bunch of Ripper Dactyls. But damn, that was a quick elimination. Though the Skink Priest of Beast has been routed away and has been pushed. Oh, once again, the Ikisasa will keep sniping, try to snipe out that spell casting. But I feel like the better choice would be just shoot those Ripper Dactyl Riders. Those are the most expensive targets on the field. And even if you don't do that, you can probably shoot the Bastillodons. But anyway, it seems like the Storm Vermins made short work of the Bastillodons, though they themselves have taken quite a bit of damage in the process of doing so. Not having a good time whatsoever. Yeah. While over here, the Ripper Dactyls are just swarming anything they can find. Just blobbing up together, fighting alongside one and each other, and it's a flyer blob. It's a flyer blob with Tic-Tac-Toe supporting, and they are unstoppable wherever they go. On top of that, the Ikisapsap crew is gonna be knocked out due to the Chameleon Stalkers showing up at the Skaven backline. And the Reaper Dactyls just continues to swarm around. Somehow the Ikisapsap is still firing, despite the Chameleon Stalkers trying their best to shut down the artillery. There's some minor damage to Tic-Tac-Toe, but Tic-Tac-Toe is in, and will be shutting down the Skaven artillery. Ripper Dactyls continues to swarm whatever targets they can find, and the Skavens simply can't put up a resistance against this blob. Ooh. Something needs to be done about it, but what can be done by the Skavens? I don't know, I'm not sure. As their anti-large troops are also running low in health, dealing with a swarm of skinks here and there, and also dealing with armor-piercing units like the Ripper Dactyl Riders and Bastillodons. Now the triple Ripper Dactyl squad once again jumps into combat, swarming the Climber Spears. And yeah. The Climber Spears are just gonna rout soon. Fire Leech Bolas continues to fire in, although somehow Skulk managed to beat up Tic-Tac-Toe. Actually, that's not too surprising. Skulk is actually a deceivingly good melee combatant. He is a plague monk himself, so he does have frenzy. On top of that, immune to frenzy boosting up his attack stats, and he is not bad in attack as well. And then discourage effect from the contaminated, and then magic attacks to bypass physical resistance and all that. He can actually put a pretty good punching against their. Human build can't really do much about the Rippers. Yeah, unfortunately. But definitely the AK Zepstar could probably prioritize shooting the Rippers instead of shooting the caster, I suppose. But I guess shooting a caster itself has a bit of merit in terms of eliminating the enemy spell support. But yeah. Either ways, the Ripper Projectile Riders are just flying around the battlefield, picking off those tattered Storm Vermins right now. Ashen Triads are coming in, trying to drag down some of them, and has been successfully putting a minor dent in their HP bar. But yeah, the Lizardmen right now just have superior mobility. Flying around with the blob of Ripper Projectile Riders and finding every single isolated Lizardman target. Oh, very nice Rod of Corruption, actually. Just following the movement of these Ripper Projectile Riders who just happen to fly over Lost Scroak, doing a tad bit more damage to them before they can actually get away. So this is why you don't really want to blob up units when you don't have to, because blob targeting direct damage spells would be really good. And also, the skins reformed around the Conquest capture point, but unfortunately they just couldn't. They also stacked up on top of each other, making the perfect target for the Pestilent Breath. Now, Lost Scroak is pretty much the only thing holding up the Skaven balance of power, plus a bit of Storm Vermin tattered ones at the back there. Ashen Triads are still holding. If Lost Scroak can get a hit onto the Chameleon skins, he can immediately rout them because of the contaminated effect. But either ways, yeah. Wait, is he gonna put a hit on anything? No, doesn't look like it. And also, Lost Scroak, despite the balance of power is in favor of the Skavens, I don't see how the Skavens can pull a win with only Lost Scroak in the fight. Oh, never mind. Clan Rats have been summoned. And on top of that, is there anything? Rod of Corruption, beautifully. Wait, no, just against one of the Ripper Projectiles. Probably better against the Cacto, actually. Wait, no, Rod of Corruption? Yeah. Liber Mortis. Oh, he used all the Liber Mortis against Tic-Tac-Toe, I guess. Rod of Corruption, really nice one cast as well. Just targeting a lot of these surrounding Lizardmen troops and just nuking their leadership alongside with the contaminated effect. Maybe blow up and make sure spears are on them, I guess. Maybe. But that also makes it vulnerable to possible Flock of Dooms and stuff. But either ways, looks like it's going to be a really tight scrap till the end, as now the Storm Vermins with Halberds are coming in to help out. And the Ripper Projectile Riders are all very tattered. Can't really provide any solid support. I mean, they are beating up some of these Red Ogres with a bunch of Chameleon Stalkers and some relatively healthy Pterodon Riders. Even Tic-Tac-Toe is jumping in despite how low he has become in health. And yeah, there's no more rock drops, just cycle charging and trying to swarm the enemy position. And but the Storm Vermins are kind of still holding very valiantly for a Skaven standard, down to their less than 1000 HP. But now it is just Lost Scroak versus the world. Can he do it? He's still very healthy and pumping up that balance of power. But if he can land a hit on the enemy targets, he can put a dent in their leadership with the contaminated effect. But that is if he actually lands the hit. He seems to be struggling to do anything right now. He is still above half leadership, so Frenzy is still activated on him. And is he? Yeah, he's still getting that Frenzy effect and getting increased hit chance. He's just not landing a hit for some reason. Over 2,400 gold worth of damage value though. He definitely did some solid work. But it's why are they wet noodling each other again? Scroak just not landing a hit. I don't know what Scroak is doing, but he is just not hitting shit. Oh, he probably got a target against something nearby, and which is why he actually has a pathing order instead of an attacking order. So he's also constantly getting knocked around by the Ripper Projectiles and Pterodons and whatnot. So like he just can't get a hit on anything. Okay, finally he got a hit on something, I guess. Yeah. leadership of the Pterodon riders are buckling, and because of that, chain route starting to happen because of the... I guess, yeah, he managed to land a single hit, and that was enough to rout off some of these rather tattered chameleon stalkers and whatnot, and that led to a freaking chain route. Everything just backed the hell out of there. But this might still be a Lizardman victory. Oh shit, I forgot how... Yeah, 500 tickets. So this might still be a Lizardman victory because Lord Skulk alone cannot capture the Conquest point. And that shall be victory for Lizardman managing to scrap a win from the jaws of defeat. As despite their main army faltering to Lord Skulk, they were still able to secure the capture point long enough and drag it out into a Lizardman win. And yeah, very nice performance from the Ripperdactyl Riders, swarming around on the battlefield, just picking apart enemy targets wherever they go. It's some very impactful charges after all with the anti-infantry armor piercing. The Chameleon Stalkers idea is really interesting, but unfortunately they are just not exactly the greatest unit these days. They used to be rather OP when they first came out and just nuke everything with their explosive charges, explosive blow darts, but yeah. These days, not so much. They kind of suck these days. Not having the greatest melee stats and the explosions aren't doing as much as before. But yeah, Ripperdactyl Riders definitely doing some solid work. And as for the Skaven army, the Halberds were the most... Halberd and Lord Skulk are the most effective things on the battlefield, and one of the Red Ogres. It King's also spent most of its time trying to shoot at the Skink Priest. Probably a better choice is really either the Bastillodon. Just nuke them down earlier, shut them down, take them out of the equation, so no more terror is available for the Lizardman army. Because terror, especially cheap terror like the Feral Bastillodon, is very effective in shutting down just pushing back the Skaven slaves and Clamorite infantry, as they can't really stand in front of a terror-causing monster for long. And if you can snipe out the Bastillodon, then the Clamorites and the Skaven slaves won't be able to hold for much. And yeah. I mean, yeah, if you shut down the Bastillodon, the Skaven slaves and Clamorites won't be able to be they won't run that fast compared to if a terror-causing monster is in the front line. So yeah. I would say a better targeting priority could have been done with the Warp Lightning Cannon, but other than that, a pretty good performance from both players there. Lord Skulk, again, he's a deceivingly good melee combatant. He's technically a Plague Monk with Sensor Bearer, so he has Frenzy, and he has a Discourage contact effect with his melee attacks, just to make enemy units rout even earlier than they're supposed to be. And yeah. As you can see in the end there, he landed one hit, and that caused a chain rout in all the tattered units of the Lizardmen. Plus Libera Bubonicas for the single entity targeting damage, and the Rod of Corruption. They are all really good direct damage dealing items. So yeah, Lord Skulk is actually a very solid lord. He just doesn't have the kind of mobility offered by Ikit Claw. Otherwise, he's really good. In a lot of situations. Anyways, next one we have Coast versus Empire. Let me just check if we have any more replay files actually. Do we have? No, we don't have that one. Ives Amp. Okay. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more replays in the background. Sorry, just gonna reply a Discord message about the tournament. And I'll be quickly resuming to tournament replay class thing. All right, cool. Next up, we have Coast versus Empire. Franz, haven't seen you in a while. Spike's once again going with an Empire army with this time with Karl Franz supported by a live wizard, Jade Wizard, a bunch of state troops, spears, swords, and halberds, and also great swords, 3 of them against Coast. This is not exactly what you want against Coast. But yeah, let's see what happens here. And Franz only on horseback, not even on Deathclaw. So I guess he's being brought as like an attack buffing piece to help cut through the enemy front line quicker with the right line Rune Fang. But other than that, a back line of halberds protecting archers and some spears. And yeah, I guess Spike really wants to go with the attack route today. In this battle in particular, Demograph of halberds on the flanks to deal with gun crabs, I assume. But I would say Empire Knight would be better in this matchup because you don't really. Yeah, your units are too expensive and they're very vulnerable to AP fire, which the Vampire Coast can field a lot with. So, yeah, might be a little bit too easy to get shot down by the handguns and whatnot. Anyways, for the army build here, Shade Wave Gunners with the discouraging explosive ghostly shots, and then a second line of 3 handgun mobs, one of them the black spots, surrounded by a bunch of deckhand mobs, some of them with halberds, and then also 1 single death guards. Actually 2 death guards, 1 with halberds, 1 without, and protecting the box of Vampire Coast units. Some mortars, great for nuking archers or any light armored infantry, so to speak, and then some pistol mobs, halberd mobs guarding, more deckhand mobs guarding the mortars, and leading the army, a fleet admiral of death with pistol. And in the sky, some gun bats actually, deck droppers with handguns, and the Salt Lord scuttlers with their fire bombs, with the deck bomb, it's basically bomber mobs with wings. But yeah, let's see what the pistol death caster has in store. Bit of Buna, Spirit Leech, and the Black Preempt for more Winds of Magic, I suppose. But yeah, anyways, the Jade Wizard is moving over. Not sure what is he attempting to do, but that might be a big miss. Oh no, Karl Franz going very bravely head first into combat, trying to go up against the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Death, and but he just received a bunch of damage in his face, I guess from the form of armor-piercing pistol. And Demogryph Knights also charging into the flanks and trying to disrupt the black spots and whatnot. But as you can see, these guys getting absolutely shredded by a volley of AP fire from the black spots. And yeah, that's not great. These guys are doing a little bit better here, but still being dragged into melee combat while being shot at. It's not too good. They are taking more and more damage. But yeah, where the hell is all the damage coming from on this flank here? On these Demogryph Knights. Are they just taking damage from all the zombies? That might actually be it, because they don't have that many unit models. Makes them very vulnerable to being surrounded and overwhelmed by enemy players. By enemy units, so yeah, not great. Anyways, the swordsmen and great swords are kind of lagging behind as they're being stuck on a bunch of zombie-powered deckhand mobs without Karl Franz helping them out. Without Karl Franz providing that right line Rune Fang to help them out in melee, they can't just cut through the zombie pirates deckhand mob that fast. While the great swords are a bit lost, they don't really have good targets to fight in vicinity. Now they're turning around to try and cut down the deckhand mobs, but that opens them up for some shots in their back from all the Shade Wave Gunners and handguns, and they're just gonna get shredded with the range assets. While the Death Gods are happily cutting through all these state troops. And the Death Gods are going to have some trouble even if they get a rear charge onto them. While over here, Demogryphs once again attempting hard for that backline disruption, but once again being surrounded by zombies, bogged down in melee combat, plus pistols shooting them in point blank, and Death Gods are in here as well. They're taking heavy losses, quickly terrified away by the presence of these terrifying ghostly gunners. And what happened to Karl Franz? Once again surrounded by handgun mobs, and on top of that, just getting nuked all over. I don't even know what the fuck is shooting him to death so fast, but yeah. Things are not great for the Emperor for sure. What the fuck was killing him so fast? Was it point blank shots? Yep, that's probably it. point blank shots from the handgunners just fighting him in melee and just shooting him while in melee as well. So yeah, there goes the Emperor. Shade Wave Gunners blasting the Jade Wizard on the skies. Definitely, definitely a lesson to be learned here is never send your Lord YOLO out into the enemy formation like that. Lost opportunity for a great surround on Griffins. I don't think it matters that much at this point. The Vampire Coast is definitely having a very comfortable lead, just savaging these poor state troop infantry with every single asset they have. Like the great swords are kind of pointless into the oh, contrarian codex finals can't be played, it's used. Oh, okay, fair dues. But yeah, it's great swords are pretty pointless into Vampire Coast. Their frontline aren't exactly amazing, and you don't really need these kind of heavy infantry to deal with them. And also great swords are just not that good in general. Just probably better off to spam spears, spam swords, and then maybe spam a bunch of archers and get a couple cannons to pick off enemy artillery and whatnot. The mortars did some okay damage, but most of the damage was dealt by the handgun droppers. Oh wow, okay, yeah, the handguns did a ton of damage, doing all the heavy lifting in the world. And Vampire Fleet Admiral also doing some good damage. Did they manage to drop any? I didn't spot any Spirit Leech, or I just didn't pay attention to any Spirit Leech. I'm just gonna quickly fast forward everything. Yeah. And I'm just gonna quickly fast forward everything and see what happens. We'll be moving on to the next replay in a second. And yeah. Just let me quickly fast forward. I want to see how Carl just got killed so fast. That makes no sense. I can't really see the trajectory of the shots either. So Spirit Leech makes sense. Yeah, Galmaraz popped up. Oh, and the poor Jade Wizard just sitting in the skies and getting blasted by the Shade Wave Gunners. But the Shade Wave Gunners are probably better off just shoot back all these infantry formations, honestly. They're more designed to shoot infantry, but either ways, they still manage to rout off the Jade Wizard pretty early, and then they can probably move on to shoot the archers and whatnot. But yeah, I just want to see how the Calfrance died. Okay, yeah, handguns shooting him in the back. Yep, that was not great. That was not great for him at all. And Demograph Knights with halberds unfortunately just doesn't do much these days. They suck pretty hard, and deck droppers handguns are just targeting them, which means yeah, all the AP fire comes in pretty nicely, and Calfrance just surrounded by guns and just getting hacked down and shot up. Pretty bad times for the Emperor. Alright, cool. Next replay. I see Corn replay there. Yep, there are Corn replays. Not only replay, but also replays. Nurgle versus Lizard. Let's just move on to the next replay and see what happens here. And yeah. Yeah. Oh, looks like we have a bit more viewers recently joining up. Yeah, thank you for checking out the thank you for checking out the stream today. And this was a big shout out to Big JP for inviting me to host to cast the tournament. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to it and check out more of my battle replays in my video archives, and also leave a like for my video as well. It really helps out. Every bit helps with my channel growth, and like YouTube like big numbers, right? The bigger the numbers are, the better videos and stuff perform due to algorithm favoring it. So yeah, it will be really helpful if you can just drop a like in the like button below. Anyways, now for the armies here, we have the Lizardmen over here with a front line of Skink Skirmishers, and then the second line of Skink Cohorts, and then the Shredder of Lustria once again. Ooh, this might be a tough one, because the... Wait, this is not Nurgle. This is Demons of Chaos. Anyways, Demons of Chaos does have a lot of missile firepower, making big monsters a risky endeavor into that matchup. Are you ready for massive amount of damage? I am kind of ready. Lord Mazdamundi with the usual items and spells. Apotheosis, Net of Amentalk, the bound spells as well. Skink Skirmishers, we talked about that. And yeah, just big monsters, and then triple. Yeah, also Rough Crystal for healing. Shredder of Lustria would be nice as well for the leadership to debuff the demons and force them earlier into crumble, but let's see what happens here. Anyways, for the Demons of Chaos army, frontline of Plague Bearers of Nurgle, and then Flesh Hounds, a ton of Change Bringers, ready to just blast things with their flamethrowers, Screamers of Tinge, and Seekers of Slanesh with Flesh Hounds. Let's just get the battle started normally. Speed up a bit, because we're in a bit of a skirmishy phase. Now the Shredder of Lustria is coming in, going up against the Exalted Great Unclean One. But here comes the Changebringers blasting through, doing some pretty noticeable damage already. And that's only one unit. A second unit come in and actually miss quite a bit of shots. But here comes another shot. Yep, damage coming in, and yep, it's going down fast. Now Banishment onto the blocky formation of the Plague Bearers and doing some good damage. But the Plague Bearers are going to be holding while the Shredder of Lustria is trying to back the hell out of there. Though the Warp Flame effect, applying that fire damage, just halving the heals from Rev Crystal and Apotheosis. And yeah, it's not getting as much HP back as before. Javelins and Skink Skirmishers are holding the front line, pushing, actually doing a lot of damage by ruination of cities and nuking down the HP of all these Plague Bearers. And the demons suddenly no longer have much of a front line remaining in the well, in the front line actually. But now Mazdamundi, no, they're stuck in the front line, surrounded by Screamers and double Change Bringers, and now the Flamethrower execution is on, blasting away at poor Mazdamundi. If this is not a Nurgle Lord, if this is Kairos or wait, no, yeah, if this is Kairos or the Change Bringers, man. If this is the the Tinge Demon Prince, bring the net, that would have been a deadly volley. Just kill Lord Mazdamundi straight up or something like that. But either ways, with the big monsters like these, the missiles are really doing bring so much damage in. And yeah, the Shredder of Lustria and Lord Mazdamundi is not happy about this at all. Complete misuse of Changebringers? I don't really think so. It's they're definitely targeting the right targets here. The big monsters are taking a ton of damage due to their large hitbox, being very vulnerable to these flamethrowers. Yeah, they are supposed to kill the big monster centerpiece. They are flamethrowers, but the biggest thing about them is they just have a lot of burst damage, and they need that burst damage to kill the centerpieces. The Exalted Great Unclean One can solo everything else alone if there's not a lot of if there's no big monster pieces to hound him. Like the Javelins can still chip away his HP pool and all that, but wait, hold on, sorry. Yeah, the big monsters can still chip away his HP pool and all that, but yeah. Give me a second, sorry. Let me just... Okay. Almost thought there's somebody sending me a message or something. Okay, anyway. But yeah. The infantry isn't the biggest problem, because the Exalted Great Unclean One has more than enough juice to, like, just drain everything down with the Mortis engine. The big monster pieces are the problem here. Like, Great Unclean One might be good, but he can't 1v3 3 big monster pieces, and the Changebringer are the only thing that has enough burst damage to kill off these big monster pieces. And they're doing exactly that. Oh, is that a Apotheosis or Fleshy Abundance? Fleshy Abundance to heal off the Plague Bearers. The last bit of infantry that is standing for the Demons of Chaos to hold the Conquest capture point. Last volley from the Changebringers, finishing off Lord Mazdamundi. While the Bastiladon and Rev Crystal are not feeling too hot, especially the Shredder of Lustria, just routing all the way on the other side and probably not going to hold on for too long. Though the Skink Skirmisher darts are putting a pretty good dent on the HP bar of these Changebringers too, so can't say the Lizardmen aren't doing anything effective here, but just that these slow trickles of damage isn't enough to counteract the burst damage from the Changebringers, and also the big centerpiece of the Exalted Great Unclean One. He can probably absorb all the ammo and it's still gonna be fine. we'll do a bit of a fast forward here as the... Oh, wait, no. The Great and Clean One is still taking a lot of damage. Actually, yeah. He's not much... he doesn't have much armor and can still take up quite a bit of damage. But yeah, the Chainbringers have been finished off by the sheer amount of blow darts, though. And it's literally down to the Great and Clean One. Exotic Great and Clean One versus the world. Can the blow darts do it? Can they take down the giant piece of demonic presence? Oh, looks like a Shredder is back with some healing from the Ref Crystal. And this might be what it takes for the Lizardman to bring this game back. Ref Crystal keeping the Shredder sustained in combat, now back to a quarter of his HP. Almost 5,000 HP left. And the Exotic Great and Clean One keep getting shot by the surrounding darts, and his HP is not feeling too hot right now. Turning in to hopefully get some commentary on the drama. What drama? I'm not talking. This is not a drama channel. But anyways, Exotic Great and Clean One is holding on. A Fleshy Abundance is keeping him topped up, nice and healthy. Exotic Great and Clean One doesn't have passive heals, which is I find quite funny. But yeah, that would be a bit too OP if he has passive heal. So yeah, don't do that. But yeah, it is gonna be two big monsters versus the Exotic Great and Clean One, and the Shredder is absolutely slapping the Exotic Great and Clean One. Seeing that there's no hope in winning this duel, well, looks like yeah, it's gonna be victory for the Shredder of Lustria, thanks to the Ref Crystal picking up their buddy. Man, I thought the Chainbringers would have won the game with all the burst damage, but I think the mistake was the Changebringers not being committed to chase down the Shredder of Lustria at some point, because one of the I noticed one of the... Wow, holy shit. 4,444 gold worth of damage value. That is... Holy shit, that is a lot of damage. The other also getting almost 3k worth of damage value. The Exotic Great and Clean One unfortunately just got shot by darts and javelins until he's dead. Yeah, not a lot of units to deal with the enemy skirmishers. That's the only problem, I guess, for this build. Which means the skirmishing actually managed to do enough work to bring the game back. Because, damn, the skirmishes, they cost like, what, 400 something gold? 500 gold max, and then they earn like 1,200 on this one, almost 800 on this one, 1,500 gold on this one. Every single one of them earn back their value. Some of them earn back triple their value, and then some more even. So yeah, he doesn't know what the drama is. He isn't. What drama? Sipa, I don't fucking know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm not gonna go into the drama bit of the, like, even if there's a drama in the community, I'm not gonna go and cover that. No, I refuse to do that. That is not my content. But yeah, anyways, I don't even know what the fucking drama is, by the way. Anyways, yeah, that is it for this battle. Very impressive performance from the Changebringers, but what regular new player tournament draw? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Alright. But either ways, whoa. I am gonna go and check out whether there are any more replays. Oh, wow, okay. I see what you mean by drama, but I'm still not gonna cover it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the drama is, but I've seen a wall of text, and I assume that might be what you're talking about. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep casting, so no, I'm not gonna do that. Shut up, Sipa. Get the hell out of there. Drama has no place over here. Anyways, yeah, anyways, I still have a lot of replays to cast, and I don't know if I can cast everything before I have to go. So, let's just focus on the replays. Now we have Corn versus Warriors of Chaos. Beautiful versus Falling Star. Beautiful once again going for Warriors of Chaos this time. Still Valkyria as a Lord, but with a Shadowcaster and a Rotting... Not the Rotting Outriders. It's the Knights of Nurgle. Wait, hold on. Knights of Nurgle?
Look at these pretenders.
That's not... It's the Rot Knights. Rot Knights. Not the Rotting Riders, Rot Knights. Anyways, for the army builds here, Warriors of Chaos going for a front line of Marauders with great weapons, and then some of them even Chaos Warriors with great weapons supporting them, leading the army Valkyria and a Sorcerer of Shadows with Pit of Shade. Interesting. I assume to nuke down enemy front line and missile troops, and some Hell Striders with Hell Scourges on the flanks to disrupt enemy backlines. There's also a Manticore as like a terror-causing piece to rout off enemy missile units. On the other side, for the Grand Cathay army of Falling Star, front line of Jade Warrior, second line of Peasant Archers, and some Celestial Dragon Gods, very elite infantry. More Peasant Archers and more these are Jade Warrior Halberds protecting the Grand Cannon, and some Jade Lances. A lot of Peasant Horses and Jade Lances leading the army Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon with Earth, Blood, and Flesh to Stone, and an Alchemist with only the buff items, armor buff with the Elixir of Iron Skin, and attack buff of Elixir of Poisons. But I don't feel any of these are too impactful in this matchup, especially when you see there's so many AP here. The armor isn't gonna do jack shit. Yeah, pretty much everything has armor piercing other than the Hell Striders and the Manticore, but even so. Anyways, Grand Cannon is trying to shoot at Valkyria, but missing because Valkyria is a single entity flying infantry-sized lord and is very nimble and easy to dodge enemy missile line. Oh wait, never mind. The Grand Cannon is trying to shoot at the Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows or the infantry. Shooting at the infantry makes sense. But yeah, yeah. Valkyria is just going to dive onto some of these Peasant Archers and disrupt them, preventing them from shooting at the Marauders with great weapons. While the Marauders of great weapons would duke it out with the Jade Warriors, but they are going to struggle to break through the front line there. 38 melee defense on the Jade Warriors will help them tank through those pretty shit melee attack stats. Why is this army set up holy? What is this army set up holy? Yeah, everyone is just social distancing with each other, and a lot of space. That means a lot of gaps for the enemy mobility to exploit, but also means that the enemy infantry will be stuck quite far away from the missiles and unable to just straight up run into those archers. But yeah, Miao Ying is slowly floating over to fight Valkyria the Bloody, as Valkyria is slowly hacking her way through the Peasant Archers, and on the far side, their Jade Lances pinning. Getting a gruesome charge from the Rot Knights, and they are just gonna get shredded. Rot Knights also having that regeneration keeps them alive, and the Jade Lancer is really doing really minimal damage to these self-healing knights. And yeah, the archers are trying to like reposition, but I feel like that is not them. That is just them wasting a lot of time moving around, not doing actual damage. While over here, Peasant Horses trying to reinforce the front line, but that means that they're blobbed up onto the Peasant Horse spears and just got nuked by a Pit of Shades. Did Valkyria use a spear slot near? She did, I just didn't spot where. But either ways, yeah, Valkyria not doing too fine when Miao Ying is in the fight though. While over here, Rot Knights are trying to do some chase off some horses. And Jade Warriors with Halberds are holding the line. Celestial Dragon Gods holding the line, trying to screen off enemy Manticores and whatnot. One of the Manticore has been rampaged, but the other has not. So they just jumped straight into killing these Peasant Archers. But oh boy, these close shots of the Grand Cannon, sniping out multiple models of these Rot Knights, forcing the Rot Knights to respond to this threat, turning around and charging into the Grand Cannons. But here comes a downhill charge from the Jade Lances, intercepting that charge of the Rot Knights, and also a point blank shot from the Grand Cannons. One last shot, and those Rot Knights took another model of a loss from the Grand Cannon. And yeah, things are not looking too hot for the Rot Knights so far. Being surrounded by Halberds, and they are forced to pull back, being routed away. Still, oh no, the Warriors of Chaos didn't actually capture the Conquest point, so they're not getting any tickets so far. And their push against the Grand Cathay army is struggling a bit hard, as the spaced out Grand Cathay army means that the units that the Chaos army sent out to try and disrupt the backline are isolated and ripped apart by the reconverging Cathay backline protection. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Oh, that was a bug, I think. Like, we saw the cast was about to be cast over here, but I think either there was a misclick on another ability or item, or the Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows just got knocked over. The cast automatically zeroed in on the Chaos Sorcerer Shadows himself, and that wasted a spell cast that could have nuked these poor peasant archers. But alas, it is what it is. The Chaos Sorcerer will have to fight on. Now finally, the Warriors of Chaos managed to capture the Conquest point, and the backline is getting disrupted pretty hard. Celestial Dragon God got nuked by some damage. I believe that's a Spear of Slopnir. Let's see. Yep, no more Spear of Slopnir from Valkyr the Bloody here. And the Celestial Dragon God is down to roughly a quarter of their HP, while the missile troops are all compromised by the Feral Manticores being pushed away, and the Jade Warriors are just sitting there not doing jack shit. Not actually getting the attack order to charge onto any of these Manticores. While Valkyr is being hounded by Miao Ying, so yeah, taking some damage, but nothing too substantial. While Grand Cafe losing that capture point means that it's very unlikely for them to recapture it, because Grand Cafe doesn't have much of a melee push left outside of Miao Ying herself. Although Miao Ying doing some really good work against Valkyr, and Valkyr really struggling to get out of there. Every time she tries to get out, she just gets staggered and gets stuck. And oh no, she walked into this archers, got staggered again, and this might just be the end of Valkyr. That Manticore needs to dive in and bail Valkyr out, but nope, Manticore's just like, yeah, no, the Lord can just get routed like that. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just gonna go for some easier pickings instead of dealing with the Miao Ying. I don't want to fight the scary dragon there. Another nice pit of shades though, nuking the Jade Warriors with halberds. And yeah. Looks like the Warriors of Chaos have an advantage in terms of army, but Grand Cafe has an advantage in terms of just character presence. Because I don't know what can the Warriors of Chaos do to take down Miao Ying at this point. She has healing if she returns to human. Oh wait, well, she doesn't really have healing per se. But she can return to healing human form to get healing, so I guess that's something. But yeah, okay, I guess she will be dropping healing soon, turning back into human form. But that is a lot of Chaos Warriors to cut through. And yeah, that Miao Ying, I don't think Miao Ying has the oomph to go through so many infantry herself. Not even in the dragon form, actually. She's not like she's not Zhao Ming. She doesn't have the damage resistance. And yeah. Okay, she comes in, hacks down the poor Manticore with a pretty decent weapon strength. 430 versus the 45 armor of the Feral Manticore. And a Pit of Shades nuking the Celestial Dragon God, or what remains of it. And now the Rot Knights are coming in. Ooh, nice. There's a healing coming in to keep those Celestial Dragon God in the fight. It's a regrowth. It's a regrowth. A desperate regrowth, though. Keeping these elite halberds in the fight will be really key in supporting Miao Ying in any engagements, as Miao Ying is slowly hacking away through those Chaos Warriors along shoulder to shoulder with her halberd and alchemist. Another Earthblood healing back up the halberds once more, and then Miao Ying turned back into the Storm Dragon form to more effectively cut through those great weapon infantry. But there's nothing that Cafe can do right now to push the Conquest point. And another... That Pit of Shades nuking the Great Weapon Warriors, but also nuking the Celestial Dragon Gods. But that basically freed up the Dragon Gods, and also Miao Ying going after the Shadow Caster, shattering him. And there's no more leadership support for the Warriors of Chaos, and Miao Ying can pretty much bully most of the units remaining, unless it is the Rot Knights, which has anti-large armor piercing surrounding Miao Ying, can help them. Can help the Warriors of Chaos do some good damage to Miao Ying, but most importantly, just bog down Miao Ying, preventing her from pushing the Chaos Warriors over here. But either ways, seems like the Grand Cafe won't quite be able to capture the point in time, having those Warriors of Chaos infantry just to occupy the point and just wait for the timer to tick. Wait for the tickets to trickle in and the timer to run out for the Grand Cafe. But I still think the Warriors of Chaos probably could have won this, just because they still have a bunch of Rot Knights in the end, self-regenerating. And yeah, the interesting formation from Falling Star, deploying his army so far apart. Just buying more time for the missiles to shoot, but as you can see here, the missiles didn't actually get to shoot much. Wasting a lot of time trying to reposition into a better position, just trying to reposition away from enemy threats and all that, and that was not quite worth it. And the cavalry just got smashed by Rot Knights and not quite able to do their job. Definitely, especially being scattered all over the place, the Grand Cavalry army not necessarily able to enjoy the harmony effects, buffing the stats of their troops. Definitely, if you're playing Grand Cavalry, you want a tighter formation to hold your position, and also just a easier way to provide each unit support. So like, your archers are in a better position to fire into the front line and support your infantry. Your infantry is closer to maneuver to the archers and help them block enemy charges, and also easier to close in any gaps on your formations, instead of just scattered all over the place and you can't really like fan out all angles of your formation. You need to pick what to protect, and your opponent can really always choose the less protected assets to destroy. Yeah, you don't really want to basically you don't really want to like scatter your formation like that unless you really have a clear game plan on how to tackle an army. For example, against a low mobility faction like dwarves, this might be a scattered formation might work, because this forces an enemy to choose where to target, where to push. But either ways, this is against a high mobility rush faction like Warriors of Chaos, this is not great at all. Anyways, next up we have Khorne versus Vampire Count. Finally, we're going to the finals game has been played. Nice. Just drop it, send me the replay, and I'll cast it later. Cheers, Contrarian Codex. That is appreciated, and yeah. And I really appreciate the work of the RTK server, RTK clan, for organizing the battles. Really appreciate it. And yeah. Now, let us have a look at the army builds here. Vampire Count, once again, I think it's the same player, right? Let me just quickly quit the replay. I need to quickly take a bathroom break, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's see. We are looking into Khorne versus Vampire Count. Khorne is cooked. They didn't bring Scarbrand. That might be it. The Scarbrand is just really good against the undead. having the splash attack, but I think the most important unit in this matchup is actually the Regiment of Renowned Gorgon. What is it called again? Shit. Forgot the name of the Regiment of Renowned Gorgon. Damn it. Anyways, for the army builds here, Blood Brute Behemoth. Yeah, that is it. The Blood Brute Behemoth, that might be a more important thing. That is the only thing that can sustain in a grind against the Vampire Counts with the self-healing. Anyways, we have zombies in the front line, skeleton spears, grave gods, skeleton spears, more of them, more skeleton spears, 2 crypt horrors, interesting, and once again more black knights, one with lances and barding, one without, and yeah, it is pretty much a blob grind, right? Mortis engine, unholy lodestone, corpse cart. In this matchup, a fire resistance might be more important here, but actually maybe not, depending on the units are fighting against, I guess. But Vlad von Kastan leading the army with a White King, with of course Scapsgrave. I haven't seen people using this ability for a while, but actually it still looks pretty good. And okay, Balefire, Corpse Cart, actually both Corpse Cart and a Mortis engine. That's a lot of single entities, and but yeah, it's still legal because Corpse Cart doesn't count into the single entity limit. Yeah, we have let's see, zombies. Yeah, that is it. That is it for the main army build. On the other side, for the Khorne army here, front line of Marauders, and then a ton of mobility. Flesh Hounds, and then Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons, Minotaurs of Khorne, one with great weapons, one without, and then a Blood Shrine, Blood Bike coming in to ready and grind. I guess the Blood Feast ability, the self-heal, Gore Feast ability of the Blood Shrine does provide some form of healing and prolonged grinding potential, but it's not going to be as good as the Blood Brute Behemoth in terms of splash attacks and whatnot. Valkyrie the Bloody with Spear Slopnir and Demon Shield. And yeah, the Undead faction is already gunning for the Conquest point, ready to capture it. Just trying to establish a presence there and capture it, I suppose. It's gonna be a slugfest on top of the capture point, I swear. But yeah, let's see what happens here. As the undead troops are moving in, Minotaurs charging forth and doing some really good charge impact damage against the Crypt Horrors. Crypt Horrors trying to fight back, and Marauders getting smashed quite hard. And ooh, this is a lot of blob units. This would be a beautiful Spear Slopnir down the line, but I'm not seeing anything yet. Valkyria, come on. You have to do it. Come on, Valkyria. Yeah, let's go. Look at the blob. Oh, doing some... It's a 5 for 1 hit, actually. 5 units got hit by the Spear Slopnir. And units are just duking it up, but Terror Presence of the Mortis engine already breaking some of the Marauders. And the Cultists of Khorne might be a good time to just drop the Gate of Khorne here to stabilize the front line. But anyways, Crypt Horror is getting beaten up pretty hard, while the Khorne units focusing on one flank with all these Marauders of Khorne with great dual weapons and great weapon Minotaurs, all jumping onto one flank, smashing those skellies. But yeah, looks like the grind is going in favor of Vampire Counts for now. They're sitting comfortably on the objective, draining away the enemy hit points with the Mortis engine. It just needs to move closer to the front line and affect more units. Now, things might change if there is suddenly a sort of Khorne coming in, hitting everything in the vicinity, but I don't know if this is going to be the case here. Everything is getting drained down by the Mortis engine, which is going to be quite a bit of a problem. Invocation of the Heck, upgraded version, healing back a ton of units in the vicinity as well. And there's still so many chaff available for the undead, and I don't know if the Khorne can grind through this. Keeping those balefires right next to each other was an accident. Yeah, that might be. But I don't think that's a problem here, since they are just stacking onto such a close blob. Well, doesn't matter now that they're so blob. Yeah, exactly. Like, everything is in this vicinity. You don't even need a second corpse cart anymore. Everything is blobbing on everything is blobbing on the conquest point. Though the Undead Chaff is running low, down to both sides down to 700 unit models. Of course, part of it is 100 models from Khorne is these temporarily summoned Bloodletters. Probably should have dumped them right on top of the enemy blob so that they can start fighting the moment they're summoned out instead of, and all of them can be in contact with enemy instead of just like the front bit of the army. Now, if there is a Sword of Khorne, that would be really nice. Just nuke down everything. But it seems that I feel like the biggest problem with this Khorne build is cutting down these single entities. And also the Mortis Engine now down 1,500 gold worth of damage value. Not the most damage, I guess. Is that a Curse of Years coming in, or is it an Invocation of the Hack? What the fuck just came in? What the fuck just got cast? I don't see shit. What? I have no idea what just got cast. Was it a cancelled cast? But yeah, it is a slugfest. Oh yeah, here's a Curse of Years, slowing down the damage output of the Khorne army, making the vampire counts hold even longer, buying more time for the Mortis Engine to drain units away. And finally, Flash Hounds are activated to do some rear charging. I don't know if it's gonna even matter. Oh yep, here comes the Sword of Khorne, smashing the Grave Gods. But it doesn't really matter at this point. The Khorne army just took too much damage from the Mortis. Yeah, 2,700 gold at this point. All the units are just so tattered. Valkyria also dueling with a self-healing Lord and a White King helping out. Yeah, she's just not cut for this. And yeah, that is just going to be the end with the vampire counts blobbing till the end. This is why you need Skybrand and Bloodbrute Behemoth in this matchup. They have enough splash attacks that can do enough damage against the Undead Chaff, just charging around. And yeah, also Breath Attack from Skybrand can do some good damage occasionally against blobs and stuff. But yeah, it's just really hard for Khorne to straight up grind down vampire counts like that. Rough times. Also, I guess Scarbrand and a Bloodbrute Behemoth ganging up on a Mortis Engine can probably finish it off if there's not enough protection around for the Mortis Engine. But yeah, it's a rough match. It's a rough one for Khorne for sure. Yes. Why is it Chaos? Okay. Yeah, Warriors of Chaos versus Clan Skya. Alright, so let's get a battle started then. Now for Clan Skyer on the other side of the battlefield, we have a pretty standard box here. Clanrat Spears in the front line, Storm Vermins holding the second line, and then more Clanrat Spears, Clanrat Skaven Slaves, Poison Wing Globes, and Red Ogres behind them, and more Poison Wing Globes. Just 3 Poison Wing Globes, really good to clear out enemy infantry. Night Runners providing some skirmishing forces, and also just to deal with enemy skirmishers. And also, of course, a Kick Claw leading the army, not on a hamster wheel, on foot actually, so he has a flamethrower. On the other side of the battlefield, and also it does burn leadership debuffs. Anyways, on the other side of the battlefield, we have some Tinge Murder Horsemen. They are skirmishers with a Tinge barrier, so that comes in extra nice to mitigate enemy incoming damage, blocking some of the damage from the Night Runners already. Gorby's Chariots for their armor piercing to run through enemy weapons teams, I believe. Forsaken and Marauders in the front line. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. It's been so long since I see one of these things in any multiplayer play. I don't know how good is it gonna be, especially considering all the halberds on the other side of the battlefield, but let's see what happens here. Since he does have some healing support from Festus the Leech Lord with the Flesh Abundance and his healing elixirs. There's also the Mortis Engine effect, Harboring of Pestilence, but we don't know if it's going to be doing much other than outside against the halberds. But anyways, Gorby's Chariots already charging into the Night Runners, doing some good damage with the fire support from the Marauder Javelins. And yeah, Night Runners are being pushed back for now. But yeah, the Gorby's Chariots just don't give a shit. They have 130 armor, and these are non-armor piercing missiles. They can tank those shots for days. I mean, they're still taking damage, don't get me wrong, but those damage are not exactly effective. Now, the Warriors of Chaos are just standing on top of the capture point. not actually standing on top of the capture point. Exalted Hero of Nurgle as well for the AP damage, I guess, but come on, Warriors of Chaos, you really need to stand on top of the capture point and establish dominance. But either ways, Gorby's Chariots, for once, doing some work. Not a lot of damage, but yeah, definitely helping out the Marauders to keep the pressure off from the Gutter Runners from shooting at the Skirmishing Cavalry. Now the Marauders are moving up alongside the Forsaken and all that, capturing the point, and a Stream of Corruption doing some nice damage to those Night Runners. But here comes the Red Ogres moving up and ready for a counter charge, and most importantly, Poison Wind Globes, some deadly firepower coming in, scaring the hell out of the Marauders, and they're quickly pulling back. Yeah, those Marauders are scared for the Poison Wind Globes, but yeah. Poison Wind Globes, though, getting a bit out of position, decided to pull back, and that means the Marauders can safely charge into the Night Runners and start kicking them down. Red Ogres are in the vicinity, while over here, Clanrat's shields got nuked by the friendly fire of the Poison Wind Globes. Flensing Ruin, it's a 3-for-1, actually. I was supposed to say 2-for-1, but hitting the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, Festus Leech Lord, and now the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth willingly charge into the vicinity here. Finally, Festus moved out of the way. But that means the that still doesn't save the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and the Exalted Hero. And now the Marauders are getting into the frontline fight. Poison Wind Globes are getting dropped in the front line, and those Marauders are taking damage, but Storm Vermin's also holding back those Marauders, but Forsaken quickly beating up those Clan Reds and are moving into the second line of combat, forcing the Red Ogres to engage as well, just to slow down on the enemy melee push. Now the Murder Horses of Tinge are circling around to the back line, and they might be able to exploit the opening there and just go straight into melee and charge those Poison Wind Globes, though their lack of armor piercing means that they are not that effective against the weapons teams. Poison Wind Globes on this flank is just single-handedly picking apart multiple units of enemy Marauders, though Kid Claw is in a bit of a danger as the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth has his eyes on the prize and smashing a Kid Claw on foot. A Kid Claw on foot doesn't have enough speed to run out of there, so he is just gonna get hunted down by the massive ancient monster, taking more and more damage with every strike. And the Marauder Horsemen are managing to shut down the Poison Wind Globes, not doing a lot of damage, but most importantly just preventing them from continuously firing into the Chaos infantry. And seems like Chaos push is going pretty well. Forsaken are getting into the back line there, beating up Poison Wind Globes. Red Ogres, without any armor, is gonna struggle against damage dealing Forsaken. Storm Vermins are holding in the front line, taking some friendly fire from the Poison Winds, but yeah, unfortunately they are probably not gonna save a Kid Claw here. Another nice Flensing Ruin, hitting both the Dragon Shaggoth and Festus Leech Lord. And but yeah, a Kid Claw is getting extremely low right now. Balance of Fire is in favor of Chaos since the Skavens, a lot of their missiles are offline. Most of their Poison Winds are routing or shattered. Actually, yeah, only one is still holding, but they are also disrupted by the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, who does have armor piercing to cut through their heavy armor. And yeah, Storm Vermins with Halberds are swarming Festus Leech Lord, who probably should keep dropping those. Is he switching? No, not switching. But he should probably keep spamming those Stream of Corruption to cut down these blobs of enemy units. But either ways, looks like all these Poison Wind Globes are being kept on the run. Unable to return to fire back at the enemy target. We can probably fast forward here as the Murder Horsemen. Oi, why are you dropping the Poison Wind Globes? Why are you coming back? I guess it's an alpha strike now. Everything is going after a Kid Claw. The Exalted Hero as well. The Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Night Runners are shooting, and the Gorby's Chariots is getting almost to their heal cap. Damn, they must have received a fleshy abundance when we're not looking. Doing some really good cycle charging. We might reload into this replay for a bit just to keep an eye on just to see what the Gorby's Chariot was up to, because it has been definitely doing some. I rarely see a Gorby's Chariot being effective, and this is one of the case here. Also because not a lot of good units are good at countering the Gorby's Chariots in this battle. Red Ogres are mostly committed to the frontline fight instead of protecting the backline assets, and yeah, that is gonna probably be it. As Festus Leech Lord is routing, but a kid was killed earlier, and the remaining Poison Wind Globes can't really carry the game when they're constantly harassed by enemy mobility. Yeah. Red Ogre is being picked apart, and another Fleshy Abundance healing up the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Funny enough, Shaggoth is probably better than Kolak. Shaggoth, I don't necessarily agree. Kolak can burst single entities down really quickly with his Star Crusher. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth cannot. Kolak has all the buffs. He's just expensive, that's the problem. But with healing, he can be really good. Like, you're gonna have to get a single entity. You can only get one massive single entity monsters if you're going for a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Why not just get a better one, kind of thing, right? Alright, let's just quickly fast forward here. Just to see what shenanigans was this Gorby's Chariot up to. Harassing the Night Runners, doing some nice damage. Just plying through those Skavens and... oh shit, things are getting cold here. I might need to quickly run off to close my window. But yeah, we can do it after the game. Gorby's Chariot is one of the best chariots in the game, in my opinion. Maybe, but chariots in general are just dog shit these days. So, set times for it to be a chariot. Used to be... yeah, chariots used to be pretty damn good when during the patch of the Grim and the Punch. But yeah, Gorby's Chariots just plowing through enemy front line and rear charging gutter runners who were bogged down by Forsaken. Okay, yeah, pretty good, really good use of the Gorby's Chariots, cycling around different targets instead of staying in a single fight. Really utilizing the impactful charge attacks. And whenever they got stuck, there are some Forsaken nearby to screen them out and keep them out of fights. Really nice. And also Fleshy Abundance, don't forget about that. Just keeping those chariots topped up. This might be a new tech. Oh hey human boy, nice to see you here. I haven't seen you in a while in my chat. Outside of raids actually, but yeah. Hopefully everything was going alright on your end. And yeah. Great cast with the Vermin League today as well, with the Gracier. Really cool games. But yeah, nice use of the Gorby's Chariots with the healing elixirs keeping them alive. And or more importantly, Fleshy Abundance. So really good, really nice use. haven't seen a Gorby's Chariot doing a good job in a while. I don't watch content much. When I make content, I usually don't want to watch much. I agree. I know what you mean. Like, if I'm already making content, I don't really want to spend more time thinking about Warhammer when I have got other shit to do, kind of thing, right? Yeah. Which is why I am only uploading videos 2 times a week and doing a stream once a week. I feel like I need to pace myself if I don't want to get burned out. Even then, I sometimes find it hard to like motivate myself to make content these days. Just because the meta has been so stagnant, there's not much changing with the game lately. Playing Cult of the Lamb with Grace. Oh yeah, they did have the multiplayer update a while back. I heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't really tried to play it myself. But yeah, very good game from both players. But Gorby's Chariot is definitely the highlight of the battle, despite me not putting much attention to it. It has been used really nicely, just cycle charging around the battlefield, running down Skaven units. And the AP makes it really efficient even against the armored weapons teams. And Dragon Ogre Shaggoth hunting down poor Ikit Claw, doing some really good job as well. And yeah, GG to both players. And but yeah, I feel like Tima can micro his army a little bit better. Basically, just don't shift those Poison Wind Globes all over the place. Letting them stand still, only shoot at units that get close, or yeah, they have been moving around a little bit too much instead of actually shooting at enemies. So yeah. The army build, I feel like, is solid. It's just the execution would have been a bit better. And also bring a Kick-Claw on a Doom Wheel. You don't want to get him stuck on foot and getting hunted down by some random stuff like a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Yeah. Yeah, Poison Globes? Against Chaos. I don't bring Gutter Runners, actually. I feel like Gutter Runners are too expensive for what they do. Instead of bring 4 Gutter Runners, cut them all out, bring 2 more Night Runners, and maybe bring some shooting. like either Jezzails, or it can zap to shoot expensive targets like monsters, chariots, that kind of stuff. Another corn games, by the way. Actually, let me close my window. It's getting kind of cold here. Oh boy, this is gonna be a grinding game. And what else? Okay. Let me quickly check the replay files in my backend. I've got a few more to oh boy, we have wait, what is this auto save? Let me check. This is Joy Boy versus Codex. Okay. And then we have 6 more in the background, so 9 more replay, so probably another hour or two casts. Alright, let me just quickly close my windows before my room gets freezing. Alright, cool. We're back. And Fabrosi versus Corvus Glaive. Glaive. The Vampire Coast versus Khorne. Vampire Coast going for a pretty standard army with an interesting one single monster pick. Technically, it's also a construct, but it's also a monster. But yeah. Let's have a look. For the Vampire Coast army build, once again, a very standard. It seems like Fabrosi have been going for the same style of a Vampire Coast box. A front line of Vampire Deckhand mobs, halberds on the side, back line of gunnery mobs, hand cannons plus pistols and handguns mixed together. Halberds guarding the rear, and Lamprey's Revenge leading the army. Count Noctilus, supported by a Gallows Giant for the anti-infantry flaming attacks. Noctilus with Wravestorm, Moondial for the zombie summon, Melkoffs, and also Invocation of the Heck on the other side for the Khorne army. Front line of Marauders, second line of dual weapon Marauders, and then some Minotaurs of Khorne, one with great weapons, one without. Fleshhounds to flank the enemy army, and in the skies, Valkyrie the Bloody and Cultists of Khorne for the Bloodlet to summon. Also still a Blood Shrine. So going pretty much for the same style army build every battle, or almost same style every battle. And oh, some sneaky Chaos Warhounds. No, just three Fleshhounds hidden away in the back line, ready to jump onto enemy gun lines. Which the Vampire Coast probably made a mistake of not having much threats to respond to mobility. I guess it can try to just turn around to shoot with the crossfire of the missiles, but still, it's gonna be quite risky in not taking any backline protection outside of one halberd and one Lamprey's Revenge. And now Marauders are engaging into Bahar Deckhand mobs. The hand cannons are struggling to find a good line of fire. Not exactly unleashing the full power of their potential here. Also, they need to start shooting at those damn Minotaurs. Not Melkoffs. Don't Melkoffs. Minotaurs. They're not. Melkoffs is not good against Minotaurs. Melkoffs are good against units with 24 unit models or more, I think. Against Minotaurs, nah. Or is it 48? Either way, it's not good. It's not good against Minotaurs. Don't do that. It's a waste of magic. Instead, turn the hand cannons over to shoot at the Minotaurs of Khorne. That would be a better choice. Same goes for the handguns and handguns and pistols. And now the Fleshhounds have been unleashed over there. As there are no backline protection, the Fleshhounds easily exploit the gaps on the Vampire Coast box there and start flooding those handguns. Spear Slop near here doing minor damage to the hand cannons, and now the hand cannons actually did switch their targets. One of them absolutely nuking one of the Minotaurs. Now the Blood Shrine of Khorne really needs to jump over to the hand cannons and shut them down, which they're exactly doing that. The handguns at the back and the pistols are getting disrupted by the flesh hounds being swarmed in the back line, taking quite a bit of damage, but the hand cannons are still kicking strong. But this is where the dual weapon oh wow, okay. Valkyrie just got nuked by those hand cannons. Holy shit. Down to half health. Is that a single volley? Shit. That was painful. A single volley knocked out half of her health. Either ways, Marauders of Khorne are coming in to start cutting through those zombie chaff. But yeah, the zombies are trying to pull back while hitting the Marauders with a bit of a Melkoffs, and at the same time the presence of the Terror from the Gallows Giant managed to rout them off straight up. And yeah, it looks like a Khorne rush is unfortunately faltering. There's just too much firepower from the Vampire Coast army. This is why I don't bring, if I play Vampire Coast, I would not bring Minotaurs. And also I would not bring Blood Shrine. They are such value sink, they cost so much, but they are too vulnerable to what the Vampire Coast can field. Hand cannons, handguns, all very good at shooting and just sniping out enemy monsters and stuff. And also the halberds will just hold you down there. So what I would do is probably just spam Minotaurs and Forsaken. Here comes the Sword of Khorne. We're going in with a missile drop from Khorne himself, nuking those poor zombie gunnery mobs, including the hand cannons, and basically 2 units straight up gone from just that. And but yeah, still, the crabs is gonna be rough for Khorne to take down. Not having a lot of units left to deal with these big monster pieces, as the Minotaurs of Khorne are getting absolutely lit up by the handguns over here, or the AP fire. Even without AP, like just pistol shots will be doing a pretty good number on these Minotaurs, since they don't have the most armor. And I think we can fast forward here, as Valkyrie is trying to duel Noctilus. It's not great for both of them, but Noctilus having healing will have a slight advantage. At the back there, Bloodletter Summon being dropped. I don't think it warrants a Melkoffs there, since Bloodletter Summons, 1, they have spell resistance, 2, you can't actually kill them off in time before they disappear themselves anyway, so it's a waste of magic. Anyways, Noctilus still fighting, still getting chased by Valkyrie. He probably should just turn back and fight. Oh no, actually never mind. Those dual weapon Marauders are still in the fight, so yeah, not great. Not great for Count Nautilus. He should definitely back out. But the Gallows Giant and Lamprey's Revenge are holding strong, while the Minotaurs, the Great Weapons ones, are almost done for. Minotaurs of Khorne with dual weapons are still fighting and just dumpstering these poor handguns, but maybe Khorne still stand a chance. Balance of Heart isn't that far behind for them. But yeah, the Minotaurs though are taking more and more damage. Maybe perhaps Valkyrie, with enough support from his infantry and his single entities, and her single entity might be able to do it. Maybe. Spear Slop near here, further chipping away the health of the Pirate Deck and mobs. Count Nautilus was staying out of the fight, which might have been a mistake. He has to be in a fight to actually utilize the hunger to get heals. And now he is doing that. He is getting some heals, but his infantry support is dwindling. I think he used up all his zombie summons, isn't it? Yep, no more zombie summons. Gallows Giant is still fighting, but against these single entities, it doesn't actually do much damage unless he jumps in to fight. Oh, nope. Looks like there's just a big hit from Count Nautilus smashing the poor cultists. And now Ravestorm finishing off the Blood Shrine, and Sword of Khorne was about to be dropped. There's enough fighting to get to Sword of Khorne out, but unfortunately the second sword could not be dropped before the game end due to army losses. Yeah, I wouldn't bring such a monster heavy army against Vampire Coast. Their shooting is just too good. Everything you send in, they're just gonna get blasted by handguns and hand cannons. Instead, you need like a swarm of infantry, including both regular Marauders and Forsaken, just to punch through the enemy front line. And then what I would do is actually bring a ton of Forsaken, a ton of Marauders, some with dual weapons, some without, and then just spam skirmish cavalry. Like a lot of these units here, the infantry can be dealt with if you have enough, well, your own infantry, aggressive infantry. And the monsters, you don't want to fight them with melee monsters, especially Lamprey's Revenge. Those shotguns and healing combined can outlast any Minotaurs. what you want to do is just throwing axes them to death. Even if they have death gods that can kill your infantry, you can still kill them with throwing axes. That's what I would do. But yeah, GG to both players. Now let's move on. I'm trying to speed up the pacing a bit here because we still have a lot of games to cast. And yeah, I'm kind of running out of time here. Yeah. Let me just drop in. We are on the battlefield with Core Hell Cross H versus Spikes. Once again, Core Hell Cross H going for Lizardman while Spikes going for the Empire. Let me drink some water. Alright, so army builds here. For the Lizardman on the green side for Core Hell Cross, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. No, yeah. Anyways, yeah, we have a front line of temple gods, very elite, a single elite infantry providing guardian to nearby characters, and what else? We have Salamander Hunting Pack, 2 units of these guys, and some sort of spears protecting them as well. Shredder of Lustria and Lord Mazdamundi, plus a solar engine, and Legion of Chakra protecting them. Legion of Chakra, interesting choice here. And also all the Lizardman units deployed in the forest. Very nice use of the forest cover, and the Legion of Chakra can probably provide some missile resistance to the Bastillodon as well. On the other side, for the forces of the humans, the Empire, front line of spears, second line of Hawkland long rifles. Very deadly sniper rifles, but you don't see them much these days because, well, we don't really see Empire much these days. Everyone just banned them. Hellblaster volley guns, which actually outranges the Bastillodon with solar engine. The volley guns with their burst damage of armor-piercing missiles can actually burst down Bastillodons pretty efficiently, and combined with the Hawkland long rifles, yeah, this is going to be rough for the Bastillodon with solar engine. Some halberds guarding the rear and Empire Knights for some mobility and mass in the skies. We have the Carmine Dragon from Elspeth von Draken, coming in with pretty much a full toolkit: Death's Timekeeper, Dark Walker, and Spirit Leech. Alright, so we are gonna start the battle with some deadly volleys from the Hellblaster, blasting away at the Bastillodon solar engine. We are gonna pause for a bit here. Coruscating Breath onto the Bastillodon solar engine, doing some good damage, very nice damage, down to half health already on the Bastillodon solar engine. And although the Salamander Hunting Pack is returning fire, chipping away the health of Elspeth von Draken as well. Death Timekeeper is getting some heals up, but the on fire effect is gonna cut it in half. Yeah. And now the Legion of Chakra tries to hold on to the capture point, at least hold on long enough to get the capture point. But and also even using the Shield of Chakra to buy themselves more time. Unfortunately though, Elspeth from Draken is here to try and terrify them away, and especially with her magic, with her nice charge attacks, with being a dragon, doing some pretty good damage. But the Legion of Chakra, being a regiment of renown, just have enough leadership to hold on till the very end. But unfortunately, despite the shield of the old ones here trying to keep them in the fight, they are still being pushed off as the terror of the from Elspeth kicks in. Now the Bastillodon continues to hide in the forest. Same goes for all these Lizardman forces. Not that you can hide with the Shredder of Lustria, but I feel like Spike definitely making a mistake not pushing up. You're just giving your opponent free control of the battlefield, especially with Conquest, where the control of the Conquest point is very important here. You're just giving your enemies free tickets, and while your army, like both sides can just sit here for days. And then Elspeth, well, if she pushes us up, she'll just get hit by enemy missiles just like that, taking a ton more and more damage from the anti-large salamander. Yeah, you can finish off the solar engine, but is it worth it though? Elspeth is almost dead, and the salamanders are just doing more and more damage to her. And I'm sure she has used up all her stacks of Death's Timekeeper. So she is essentially out of the fight with less than 2000 HP left. And now the Hawkland rifles are still not having any good targets to shoot at. Now the Empire is trying to push up and try to retake that capture point. Now we're seeing a little bit more skirmishing play now. Now that one of the Salamander hunting packs took a lot of damage from Elspeth, I believe, and now the Hawkland long rifles are also firing back at Salamander hunting packs. Shield of Chakwa though, keeping their missile resistance high, and they do have. Oh wait, I thought they have scaly skins. They don't actually. Never mind. Now they're getting picked apart by the Hawkline long rifles, and now Empire retook the capture point. So the Saurus are now pushing up and try to get it. But yeah, this forces the Lizardmen to push up with the Shredder of Lustria, and this is forcing the Shredder to take a lot of damage. But the Shredder can, what the Shredder should do right now is to simply push through the state troops, and get into the Hawkline long rifles. And same goes for those chameleon stalkers. Just attack, just attack. You need to start pushing. Although the Salamander hunting packs are doing some really good job killing off Elspeth, the Shredder really needs to just move into the back line, kill off the Hawkline long rifles, or at least pressure them and stop them from shooting. Because right now you're just giving free value to the Hell's Boss, the volley gun. And the only thing saving the Shredder are these trees blocking those shots, as you can see here. But yeah, I guess with the trees in the way, the Shredder isn't taking as much damage as one would have thought. Oh yeah, actually, most of the shots are actually blocked by the trees. So the Shredder is still alive thanks to that. And now the chameleon stalkers are moving in, and yeah, they need to get into melee combat. Get into melee combat, just charge them. Charge those Hawkline rifles. You need to charge them and disrupt their shooting. Like, they're standing here doing nothing. Might as well just throw them in melee at that point. But yeah, anyways, Lizardmen tightly holding on to this capture point, and the Empire just don't have the resources to challenge them in melee. The Hawkline long rifles are still firing in, but Shield of Chakwa is providing that really, really nice 40% missile resistance, combined with their scaly skin 15% of missile resistance. They are just chilling for now. And now the chameleon skins are in the back line trying to disrupt the Hawkline long rifles. And yeah, this is Conquest mode, unfortunately, Mew Mew. Yeah, both sides can just hang back and wait for the oh, but the Shredder just got shredded by the Hawkline long rifles. Now the Temple Guard are moving in, and Bound Banishment blasting away the state troops, pushing all these state troops back with a chain route. But the state troops are still pinned down. They are not able to push to the capture point. So that is still probably going to be a victory for the Lizardmen, despite the balance of power being ahead on the Empire side. And most importantly, they lost Elspeth early from the Salamander hunting pack. So yeah, Lizardmen victory. You know, this is silly. Ah well. I mean, this is a new player tournament. You don't expect the most intuitive micro plays over here, but more of like spotting mistakes that players could have done better. Yeah, this is less for like amazing godly plays, but more like new players play in here, and then we look at it, and like players, you either as a viewer talk about what you see can improve, or you look at, oh, this is a surprisingly good play from a new player, great job, and something like that. This is not a place where we expect good plays, at least. But yeah, Spike definitely could have microed his army better, could have planned his strategies better. Definitely shouldn't have sit back and let their army pick apart Elspeth. Definitely a big mistake in just sending out a lord and trying to fight and support it. I feel like this is a lot of mistakes from... This might be a common mistake for players who have played too much campaign, where you usually do this kind of stuff. You send out a lord to pick off enemy units or lure enemy to do some stupid moves, and but that only works against AI. Instead of falling for the trap, new players often will exploit your singled out lord, like this in this situation here. Elspeth moving out, that exposes her to a ton of salamander fire, one of the salamander getting stupid value here, while the rest of the army, it just stays back and giving free tickets to the enemy army, which is not great for sure. And then yeah, very good value from the Hawkline, from the Hellblasters and Hawkland long rifles. Just that unfortunately, they might perhaps win the battle. They win the fight. They could not have won the battle there, just sitting back, especially losing out Elspeth and in the end a lot of a leadership chain route coming in due to the loss of leadership as well. All right, now we move on to a few more, the last few replays. We have 6 more to go. All right, let's see. Oh, greenskins versus Okay, this will be interesting. Let's go. Greenskins once again. Hot fiery potato with Alright, hot fiery potato. Yeah, we've been streaming for 3 hours plus already, actually. Yeah. We'll probably stream for another hour and then we're done. Yeah, anyways, hot fiery potato with the greenskins, front line of gobble, second line of savage orc airboys, and a couple orc boarboy biggins, one of them the broken tusk mob, and yeah, what else? We have the swamp things with terror causing troves, really good against Skavens with the terror, and also just being monstrous infantry that Skavens are usually quite struggles quite a bit against. Squig herds to reinforce the gobble front line to break through the enemy Skaven infantry, and a bunch of skirmishing cavalry in terms of Spider Rider archers, one of them the Death Creepers. Guess hot fiery potato is still adamant in using Grimgore Ironhide, but not so much using Goblin Wolf Rider archers. Night Goblin Shaman with the Curse of the Bat Moon. On the other side of the battlefield for the Skavens, a front line of Skaven Slaves, second line of Clanrat Spears, Red Ogres, and some Poison Globes to nuke down enemy infantry. Ashen tries to hide. Yeah, it's just stalking and then just hidden away from enemy sight, so enemies do not expect those backline protection to be there. Gutter Runners and Red Ogres on the flanks as well. Leading the army, Lord Scrope once again. The Discouraged leadership effect can be really good against the relatively low leadership of the Greenskins army. Nice dodge there from Hot Fiery Potato. Evading that volley from the Avalanche Mortars. Yeah, forgot about these guys. Avalanche Mortars ready to nuke down enemy infantry. Definitely should start targeting the Gobbles in the front line there. But right now they're a tad bit busy shooting. Oh, actually getting a good volley onto the Forest Goblin Spider Rider archers. We'll do a bit of fast forward here as we are going through the marching phase and watch those Gobbles getting nuked, and there's a bit of skirmishing action between. Oh, there's a Mongrel Mangy Marauders. But yeah, skirmishing action between the Skaven runners and the Greenskins light skirmishing cavalry. Squig herds charging in the front line, same for Gobbles, but they're getting nuked by the Poison Wing Globes. Red Ogres counter-charging as well, holding back those Squig herds. And now the Avalanche Mortar is moving on to bombing those Savage or Borbor Biggins. And those are devastating damage, regardless of their physical resistance from the War Paint. Now, Grimgore Ironhide going straight after Lost Grok, putting a big hit onto the guy. 2 big hits, actually. And he is threatening to finish off Lorskog. Yornik slowing his speed down by 45%, making Grimgore having a much easier time to catch up. But looks like those Skaven slaves, clan rats actually, are desperately holding back Grimgore. And now there's a chieftain here to try and fight Grimgore. Not gonna end well for the Grimgore, but at least he can do some damage back. But yeah, Curse of the Bat Moon doing some very, very minor damage to the enemy infantry. Now the Swamp Things are in the back line there and will be swamping those Avalanche Mortars in body order. But yeah, the Avalanche Mortars probably already paid back. Yeah, almost paid back for themselves, while the Poison Winds are efficiently taking down Gobbles left, right, and center. Grimgore still duking out against the Chieftain. He should be able to take this fight just fine, yep. Though he has been paying a pretty dear price for it, taking quite some damage, while the Greenskin skirmishers are just running down the enemy routed troops. That would be nice, but yeah. Over here, Ashen Triads just taking down those Swamp Things with their pretty solid melee attacks. And on top of that, they actually have enough speed at 49, even after slowdown, to actually keep up with the Swamp Things with their charge acceleration active. Yeah, so which is why I really like Ashen Triads. They can actually keep up with routed enemies often. But over here, Grimgor taking down the Chieftain all by himself, as expected, of the biggest and artist boy of all. Well, over here, Goblins are regrouping, getting a bit of a second win here. The Greenskins have managed to occupy the Conquest point, so they are getting some tickets in now. But right now, ooh, Curse of the Bad Moon again. Let's see how much damage it does. Fuck all. Fuck all damage against Climb Rats. Yeah, no. It's just not a good spell. It does a lot of melee defense debuff, but it's just not great as a spell. Yeah, like especially when there's no units around to like take advantage of the melee defense debuff. But yeah, the Skaven box has been pretty much dismantled so far. All the missile units have been pushed back. But they are now regrouping. But they are also exposed to a bunch of skirmishing cavalry to freely catch them out of position. As the infantry are gone and being driven back, most of the Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves, and all that are just not that durable. And now Skrox is trying to 1v1 Grimgor Ironhide. That is very brave of him. Okay, never mind. Clan Rat summons are being dropped in to distract Grimgor from Enterprise, but yeah, Uranix dropping on to Lord Skroak once again. Poison Wind Globes are shooting in, but that probably did more friendly damage to the Clan Rats than actual damage to Grimgor. While the Gusty Runner is trying desperately to shoot Grimgor. Oh no, the Avalanche Mortar is regrouped at the back there and now continues to bomb down those Orc Warboy Biggins. Swamp Things managed to run all the way from the other side of the battlefield over to here as they're being constantly chased and pressured by the Ashen Triads. They had to give up the Avalanche Mortars because the Ashen Triads are just really threatening to take them down. Another Curse of the Bad Moon finally doing some slightly better damage to the Night Runners, but Grimgor is wavering. God damn. Grimgor is not in a good shape. He is taking way too much damage from just random stuff in general. But Mongrel's Magic Marauders finally ran out of ammo, decided to charge into melee, but took a nasty volley from the Poison Wind Globes. Not great for them, and will be routed. They probably, yeah, those Death Creepers should probably run in to chase the Poison Wind Globes. We'll do a bit of fast forward here as the Ashen Triads continues to chase down the Swamp Things. Grimgor threatening those Poison Wind Globes, while the Death Creepers and Magic Marauders got blasted by those Poison Wind Globes. The capture point is still in the hands of the Greenskins, but the Swamp Things are being taken down. The only thing that really holds up the Abundance power for Greenskins is the Night Goblin Shaman. And yeah, it's just the Night Goblin Shaman and a tattered Grimgor. Now, can Grimgor take down Lord Skroak? It is a question here. He is using Gebe here to keep his leadership high, but he is struggling to catch up with Lord Skroak, having so many Skavens in the way. Yeah. Pretty rough time to be Grimgor in this kind of meta. Now, the Death Creepers are charging in, but the Rod of Corruption, direct damage straight onto them and just nuking these poor Death Creepers. Their regeneration is not saving them this time. However, Grimgor managed to actually rout off Lord Skroak, and that might be it. That might seal the victory for the Greenskins, as they might face a lot of leadership issues afterwards. But Grimgor decided to give up chase. No! You need to keep the pressure on to Lord Skroak. You can't risk having him come back. These are just summoned Clan Rats. You can't let them distract you from the true target, Lord Skroak. Oh no, Lord Skroak has returned. What he needs to do is keep running the hell away from Grimgor and let the Clan Rats just to send some Ashen Triads to take the Conquest point. That's what you needed to do. Lord Skroak is very wisely running the hell away from Grimgor. Balance of power. No, what? The Ashen Triads are trying to. No, you need to capture the point. Not try to fight Grimgor. You can't fight Grimgor. Okay, never mind. We'll just fast forward to the end then, I guess. Grimgor is just gonna solo the rest of the Night Runners and all. Well, there's no one leaving. Everyone just leaving the capture point, empty, undefended. While Grimgor continues to catch up. Can he kill Skroak before the game ends? That's the real question here. Oh, never mind. Army losses just hit. Yeah, what should have been done is just to get everything, stay away from Grimgor and just capture the point. Maybe Skaven will stand a chance, but at this point in the end, like, yeah, Grimgor is just too strong. Skaven versus Greenskins might be that one time Grimgor is good, because Grimgor can blast stuff with his Bloodforge armor, with his explosion, and then but he doesn't really have a melee attack buff. I mean, the greenskins can swarm stuff with mobility, I guess. But yeah. Yeah. Squig Herds plus goblins traded nicely into the Skaven chaff front line, and then Orc Barbarians did some good work against the Red Ogres for sure, and unfortunately the Savage Orc Airboats just got blasted, but they did manage to capture the Conquest point for the Greenskins and give them a more comfortable win. Swamp Things did some good damage as well, smashing those Avalanche monsters, though they got pressured hard by the Ashen Triads and wasn't able to do much damage. Night Goblin Shaman with only the Curse of the Bad Moon. Well, a lot of kills, I guess, but not a lot of value. It's just not a great spell in general, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I like the use of the Ashen Triad. It's just a little bit unfortunate in the end there. But yeah, Poison Wind Globes also did some really solid damage overall. Always a very solid unit with the explosion damage. And the Gutter Runners did well as well. I guess in this matchup, Gutter Runners, Night Runners will do good against the Greenskins Skirmishing Cavalry. So definitely a good pick there. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, probably shouldn't have sent a Chieftain to fight Grimgore. Just send some random Clan Rat's chaff to balk him down. Chieftain could have been used better elsewhere as well. Alright, Joy Boy versus Codex. We have once again Lizardmen versus Skavens. This one might be rough for Skaven as well. I'm gonna drink some water, hydrate, and then test it. Alright, army built for the Lizardman army. Skink Skirmishers in the front line, second line of Skink Cohorts, and Skink Cohorts with Javelins specifically, and then the triple monster standard stuff there for Contrarian Codex. Shred of Lustria, and then we have Bastiladon, Wrath Crystal, Lord Mazamundi on Slack? Slack, right? It's Slack, right? Yeah, Slack. Yeah, with Apotheosis, usual toolkit. Bounce spells, Apotheosis, net. And then on the other side, we have the Skavens. We go back to normal suite. Skaven Slaves and a bunch of Storm Vermin as a second line. Red Ogres and Doom Flayers once again. And Ikik Zepsap. Oh, Ikik Zepsap is trying to shift over to further back in terms of the front line there. But might be a mistake there. The monsters will just keep hiding in the forest, just probably not going to get a good angle to shoot at the enemy monster. The army probably should need to start pushing at some point soon. And yeah, there are no Poison Globes, so nothing really to deal with the Skink Hordes other than fighting them in melee. And the trees are blocking the shots of a Ikik Zepsap, very unfortunate for the Skaven, so this is going to be rough with the terrain issues here. Yeah, maybe like send the Doomflayers to charge the Skinks, but yeah. With the Lizardman comfortably sitting next to the Conquest point. Hello, human boy, welcome back. But yeah, with the Skinks comfortably sitting on the Conquest point, and it kicks up some not getting a good shot onto the monsters whatsoever, we can do a bit of fast forward here as it kicks up is just shooting in futility. Though the Packmaster getting a little bit ahead of himself, putting him right in the range of a ton of Skink blow darts, and just took a bunch of damage. Now he has to sit back and self-heal. Lord Scroll pushing up, and with a bunch of Clan Rat summons trying to push back those Skink Skirmishers, with Doom Flayers as well jumping in and run over a bunch of Skink Skirmishers. Now regular Skinks are just holding back the Clan Rat push, and finally Shredder of Lustria decided to reveal himself and go ahead and snipe Lord Scroll, but that also put him under the mark of all these Ikik Zepsap. However, Lord Scroll taking quite a bit of damage from the blow dots, definitely not having a good time, and on top of that, if Shredder of Lustria get close, this might spell the end of the Skaven Lord. Now, however, the rest of the Skavens are pushing in. Rat Ogre is taking quite a bit of damage from the Skink shot. No, Shredder leaves Scroak alone. Yeah, he is leaving Scroak alone. Which I don't think is a good choice here. Just go and keep hounding Lord Scroak. He's on foot. He can't run away. Or at least he can't run fast enough away. Really nice RNG from the Ruination of Cities, going straight down the line on these Storm Vermins and nuking half of their HP away. And then here comes a Bound Banishment right on top of the Storm Vermin. Once again, Skavens are having a really tough time. Skinks are taking a lot of damage, but the sacrifice will be worth it all for the great plan. Yeah, they will die, but still are the Storm Vermins. But unfortunately, the Banishment actually curved into the Skinks more than into the Storm Vermin, so did more friendly fire there, unfortunately. But yeah, Lord Mazamundi, as soon as he popped out of tree line, got shot by the Igig Zap, but so he's just hiding back in once more. All the Storm Vermin are just getting shot by the blow dots, and yeah, the point is still in the hands of Lizardmen, so the Skavens really need to start capturing soon, or else that will be the victory of the Skinks. Stroke OP in Conquest. It might be, yeah. Especially considering so much blobbing going on in Conquest. Anyway, Stream of Corruption going down on Skink Skirmishers, while Lost Stroke will be retreating, letting the Packmaster handle the Basilodon, perhaps. But yeah, let's fast forward a bit here. As Lord Mastermundi is just jumping in and out of the tree line and trying to pick off bits of those Skaven troops. Now, hands are... The capture point has now switched hands, going into the Skaven's control this time. And the Skinks are just not gonna have a... Wait, where's the Shredder? Oh, Shredder has gone all the way around the battlefield, trying to chase after Doom Flayers and all that, but now it is going after the Igig Zap. Igig Zap, nothing is defending it, not that there's anything that can defend it from the terror of Shredder. Now it will be shut down, and once the artillery is shut down, then the monsters are free to do whatever the hell they want. Although what's happening over here, Lord Mastermundi taking a bit too much damage from the Igig Zap has been routed away, and there's not a lot of units that can screen out the Packmaster and Red Ogres to keep him in the fight. Oh no, this is bad. Lord Mastermundi might just be routed off at this point, because the Packmaster isn't going to give up the chase against Lord Mastermundi. It is a very key win over here. So we keep fast forwarding. It might have to be... The Lizardman might have to carry the game with the Shredder of Lustria, without healing, by the way. But yeah, the Packmaster just keeps hunting Lord Mastermundi. We are gonna fast forward. We are just gonna keep fast forwarding here as the blow darts keep shooting up Lord Scroll. Lord Scroll does not have healing, so any damage against him will be permanent. Yeah. But yeah, the Shredder. There's nothing to stop the Shredder at this point. The Igig Zap has been knocked out, and everything else is just gonna get grind down by the Shredder. Especially the Shredder does. Oh wait, yeah. The Shredder does have the healing in terms of Ref Crystal. And it's just gonna dominate the Conquest point. The only hope for Skaven is to maybe hopefully they can hold the point long enough to the point that they actually win the game, but it is very unlikely to happen. They're trying to kill off the Basilodon with Ref Crystal, which is the wise choice here. But okay, look, I guess the Shredder is not really focused on keep standing on top of the capture point, which means things might still go in. No, never mind. It is just going to be army losses as the Shredder Basilodon just finishes off everything else left in the Skaven army. Nothing can stand up against the terror of the dreaded Shredder of Lustria. The dreaded Shredder of Lustria, dreaded Saurian. Dreaded Saurian is a streamer name. I can't use it. Yeah, Dread Saurian of Lustria. The shredded of Lustria, actually. Anyways, a lot of good damage from the Shredder of Lustria, because Skavens, without missiles, they just can't fight the Shredder of Lustria, especially with that -8 leadership from the Dreaded Aversion. Like, the Skaven just can't fight against him. They don't have good leadership to begin with, and then you have the -8 leadership, and then on top of that, terror and fear. Yeah, your Skaven infantry are fucked against this guy. So the best choice is just to target the Shredder and just keep shooting it with a Igig Zap. But of course, the Igig Zap was too focused on shooting Mastermundi, and as a result, yeah, Dread Saurian of Lustria, terror Bro, Mew Mew, are you having a stroke there? I'm gonna have a stroke reading that sentence. Yeah, really good damage value from the Dreadsaurian, but the rest of the army is pretty meh. I guess some of the low dots shot Skroak, but that's about it. Mostly it's just Dreadsaurian doing all the work. Yeah, pretty much. Mazdamundi got routed early by the Packmaster, but that is still fine. The Dreadsaurian can carry the day. And the Doomflayer did surprisingly little, despite them running around with the Skink Skirmishers. I guess that's what happens when you're running for your life from the Dreadsaurian. Alright, 4 more replays and we will be done. Coryell Cross H versus Hot Fiery Potato. Once again, Hot Fiery Potato going in with a Grimgore build. Let's see what happens here. Alrighty, for the Lizardman build, once again, we are seeing Mazdamundi, this time with Solar Engine and the Shred of Lustria. I guess Contrarian Codex and Coryell Cross has a slightly different Coryell Cross H, yeah, has a slightly different approach to their Lizardman army build, but mostly the same. Mazdamundi heals the Dreadsaurian and yeah, and another Bastiladon. Anyways, Salamander and then Elite Saurus Spears, and then Star Chamber Guardian and the Legion of Chakwa. On the other side of the battlefield, oh, there are a couple Pterodon riders. Our Leech Bolas, not sure why they're deployed on tree line. Maybe try to scout out any possible Vanguard deployed Skaven, not Skaven, Greenskin units, Greenskin Gobbles. And on the other side, we have the Greenskins. Already skirmishing cavalry are moving over, and with their Mangy Marauders and Spider Rider Archers. And then for a front line, we have Gobbles backed up by Squikehurt, and then we have Orc Boy Biggins, one of them, and the Broken Tusk Mobs, and then the Rusty Airs, which is gonna be theoretically pretty damn good against the Shredder with the Armor Sundering. If there are some Orc Air Boys, it would be even better. But yeah, it is what it is. We also have a Giant River Trollhag and Grimgore himself. Is he gonna challenge the Shredder of Lustria? We shall see here. Yeah, let's just get the battle started then. Yeah, Margoras Mangy Marauders are coming in to start shooting at the enemy formations. The best target for them is probably either the Solar Engine or the Salamanda Hunting Packs. But either ways, they are gonna take a ton of damage here if they can't get out of dodge in time. Looks like they are gonna get out. Cold-Blooded, nice spell, nice use of ability to cancel the Bound Banishment. Like, you don't really need Cold-Blooded in the early game, so might as well use it to cancel a spell that is not gonna be used properly. So, because, well, the Skirmishing Cavalry are moving away, and the Bound Banishment isn't gonna hit jack shit. So, yeah, really nice micro there from Coryell Cross H. But yeah, right now the Skink units are just circling around. Once again, the Saurus units, the Lizardman units are just hiding in the tree line, biding their time, using the Bastiladon Solar Engine to blast away enemy units, and most importantly, the Salamander, and start thinning out enemy chaff support. Okay, the Squikehurts are jumping in now, trying to charge into those Star Chamber Guardians and get some Goblin support while they are at it. Fate of Buna onto the Star Chamber Guardians. Very nice use of the spell, just directly deleting most of the HP from the Star Chamber Guardians, while the Salamander Hunting Packs a little bit out of position, being caught by the Squigs, and then the Orc Boar begins taking a ton of damage here. The shield of the old ones trying to keep them alive, but they have been they have been pushed back far enough that it no longer covers the unit, and yeah, they are being deleted pretty much straight up. Now Grimgore is going after the Shredder. Is he going after the Shredder, or is he going after Lord Mazdamundi? Grimgore versus Godzilla. Let's go. Let's go. No, you're not swinging. Why are you not swinging, Grimgore? Oh, he's going after Lord Mazdamundi. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, he will have to fight the Shredder at some point. Anyways, Fire Leech Bola is moving over and ready to drop some rocks. But a nice dodge from the... Nope, not exactly nice. Dodge is part of it, but not enough. And most of the HP from the Rusty Airs are gone. Ugh, that was a painful loss. That that is the Greenskins' best bet to take down the Shredder. Is to tie down the Shredder and just keep shooting it with the Rusty Airs, since they don't actually have enough missiles outside of the Rusty Airs. Maybe the Spider Rider Archers can help out, but yeah, not a lot of units for the Greenskins to take down the Shredder. I personally would just spam for Orc Air Boys and then the Rusty Airs as well, just to load that Shredder of Lustria with enough missiles. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It's hard to pin down the Shredder of Lustria. And yeah, banishment onto the first Gobble Spider Rider Archers and nuking their health as well. While yeah, Greenskin still occupying the Conquest point, but the Shredder using that forest cover is just killing everything that tries to charge into the forest. That's why you need. I feel like that's why you need land battles and fruit rules, because this kind of forest camping is very unfair. I mean, this is Conquest mode, so it's fine. But in a land battle, this is very unfair to the other player, because the forest it's just a nice like natural defense position. Your opponent can't shoot in, and then monsters also suffer some debuffs and whatnot. It's just hard. It's just really hard to attack a defensive position inside a forest. So yeah. Now Broken Tusk Moth are charging and trying to surround the Shredder, but of course both sides do have suffer some melee attack debuffs being in the forest, but Shredder doesn't care about this much. He has 64 melee attack, way more than enough to punch through the 35 defense of the Broken Tusk Mob. However, Grimgore plus the Broken Tusk Mob are still doing some decent damage to the Shredder. Those Grimgore is taking more and more damage in at this moment. Now the Mansion Marauders and Spider Rider Archers are trying to like just hold on to the capture point and fire in and just keep those enemy at bay. And yeah, this is quite unfortunate because like the Conquest point is right next to the forest, which means the Salamander hunting packs can actually come out and shoot and just jump back and forth inside the forest and hide away from enemy threats, while the Greenskins will have to sit on the point and just take the damage. But what I guess could have done over here is to send some gobbles here to occupy the capture point. And then once you got a capture point, just stay the hell away from it. Wait for the Lizardman to pull out and then just counter attack. But either way, it is still a bit of a... Yeah, it's just still really rough, honestly, for the Greenskins player here. Now that the Greenskins are weakened enough, the Lizardmen are just going to push out Saliforth and take over the Conquest point. And the Greenskins can't do jack shit about it. While Grimgore is just getting eaten up. He's trying to challenge Shred of Lustria. He's just a little bit too weak here. Grimgore is still but Greenskins on foot, and it's not exactly the terror of Lustria. So yeah, that is gonna be the victory for the Lizardmen, and yeah, a bit unfortunate. Ugh. And yeah, it's not much to say here. Like everything that got sent into the forest just got slaughtered by the Shredder, combined with the Elite Sauruses, and yeah. And Lizardmen do have that range advantage here, while the Greenskins only having one Rusty Air getting shot up pretty badly. Yeah. Sucks to be them, unfortunately. Alright, so this one, Demons of Chaos versus Empire. With War Wagons. Haven't seen these guys in a while. Just hydrate myself a bit more. Now, for the army builds here, for the Demons of Chaos, a front line of relatively elite Bloodletters compared to Blue Horrors you usually see. But I feel like Blue Horrors would be way better into Empire, actually. Just shoot up the state troops and all that. But anyways, Screamers of Tinge in the Skies, Fiends of Slaanesh, a very deadly, monstrous mobility unit. You can't really say that, call them as infantry, because they have the speed of a cavalry. So yeah, it's pretty damn rough. Give me a second. Yep. Anyways, Seekers hiding in the forest, and then more Bloodlesses on the other side of the battlefield. Furies in the skies, regular ones, just to disrupt enemy missiles, I assume, being the cheaper variant. And Herald of Tinge using Their chromatic time? Yeah, miscast chance. Just using the Teach Barrier to eat that miscast damage, which is very nice. And to get more Winds of Magic. Plus Final Transmutation and Locus of Conjuration. Yeah, anyways, on the other side of the battlefield, for the Empire troops, a really long line of halberds, great swords, and more great swords. You don't want to bring great swords into this matchup. Demons don't have armor. Your armor-piercing infantry isn't gonna do much. No. Do they give the suck? I think the fiends do give the suck, but I don't know. Anyways, great swords getting charged by Seekers, eating a bunch of damage. Seekers are trying to pull through, but they probably should pull back instead of pull through because they are now stuck on enemy models being dragged down in melee combat, while the war wagons, there's triple war wagons and leading army Master Engineer and a Jade Wizard. So interesting army picks here. War wagons are just poking down those Furies, and great swords are charging in, and blood letters are gonna trade well into the great swords due to their armor piercing anti-infantry. Well, at least the great swords can hold a bit, I guess. And spear halberds and great swords are just gonna drag down these Seekers, I believe, with the fire support from the handguns, from the repeater handguns of the war wagons, I think. Furies in the skies are in a perfect opportunity to recharge these halberds. They should just jump in and just recharge these halberds and rout them off. But yeah, a final transmutation onto the Jade Wizard, upgraded version, just really trying to nuke down on the Jade Wizard here. But Herald of Teach Metal Magic has taken quite a bit of damage, and needs to pull back away from the war wagons. War wagons continues to kite. The army, the Empire army managed to capture the conquest point, and oh, wait, what's happening over here? Furies are surrounding this poor Jade Wizard, forcing a regrowth on himself, but at the same time, still not able to save the Jade Wizard himself from being routed. The Furies will definitely be on his tail, just keep him routed away. Screamers pressuring the Master Engineer, and the war wagons are just out of position, nothing to really support and protect them. Same goes for the Master Engineer, as all the investments are dumped onto infantry, relatively elite infantry that will bound to trade poorly into fiends and ladders, unfortunately. And fiends are now chasing after the war wagons. Fiends are so strong right now, and there's not a lot of stuff to go up against it. Halberds and great swords are both kind of a waste of funds in this matchup, since again, demons just don't have much armor, and your money spent on armor piercing are mostly wasted against them. There are some winning engagements with the great swords beating up the bloodletters and with their sheer numbers, but other than that, I would say the Demons of Chaos are in a pretty good spot here. Although the artillery bombardment pigeon bomb is coming in, nuking down the health of the Screamers, but war wagons, one of them is being chased off and soon to be pushed off the map. The other also taking a lot of damage from the Furies. One of them is absolutely picked apart by the Seekers after being chased by the Fiends. So yeah, the war wagons are no more, and the only hope for Empire is to stand their ground against the demons with their sheer number of infantry and hold the conquest point. But with the Fiends cycle charging, this is gonna be rough. And yeah, we can probably fast forward here, as Spike will try to consolidate with all their infantry around the conquest point. But yeah, it is just a matter of cycle charging them to death. The Fiends though are standing around a little bit too long, taking quite a bit of damage. Same for the Seekers, but here comes a nice final transmutation, hitting everything in the blob and nuking that balance of power for the Empire. And the Bloodletters, again, they trade well into great swords, and that shall be GG for the Empire. And the victory belongs to the Demons of Chaos in this instance. Spikes definitely. I don't know if Spikes you are watching the replay, but definitely would be good to check out replays of all the casters over YouTube and check. You can just take reference from the builds that you're showcasing in the battles and build your army a little bit more accordingly to those matchups, or And also think about more about what the armies you're bringing and the factions you're facing. For example, in this instance, you're bringing a lot of armor-piercing units, but when you're looking at the demons rosters, once again, they don't have much armor, so you don't really want to bring all the expensive great swords and halberdiers to deal with them. You want to bring some cheap spears, cheap swords with shields in case there are any horrors to fire at your lines, and then perhaps bring a bunch of missiles like Hawk Lang rifles or artillery, perhaps even to bombard enemy units. And then using Empire Knights. Empire Knights very important here to protect those war wagons. War wagons isn't bad, but you need something to protect them from enemy mobility like the Seekers and Furies, which Empire Knights can do that. And then yeah, and the Jade Wizard here doesn't really have a purpose. Like, you don't generally spend healing on great swords. You want to use that on like expensive targets, expensive melee fighters that usually risk taking more damage, and you need to keep them alive longer, like for example Call of Runs or Demogryph Knights. So yeah, Jade Wizard here, not exactly great. Anyways, yeah, Ariel's Thorn versus Spikes, and now we have once again, oh wait, we've seen this before, right? So new player tournament finals, Contrarian Codex versus Beautiful. We have Lizardman versus Warriors of Chaos. Lizardman going for a Shredder single entity build versus Warriors of Chaos going for a Cold-like Healing. Two very strong meta armies going up against each other. Let's see what happens here. It's gonna be some monster showdown for sure, especially when Warriors of Chaos going with a double giant as well. Giant has really good melee attack stats for a monster unit, so it can really good attack stats and weapon strength, armor piercing weapon strength. So if it can get in range and slap stuff, it can slap hard. Still going strong with the stream, I see. Thanks for the hard work. Yeah, no worries. I'm enjoying all the games and just checking out the replays and getting some more content on the channel as well. Every little bit helps and all. But yeah, after this, I am just gonna make my beef broth noodles and go back to painting my minis. Anyways, for the army build here for the Lizardman of Contrarian Codex, we have a line of Skink Skirmishers, second line of Skink Hordes with Javis, very standard build. I think he has been using the same build all over the tournament. Lord Mazdamundi on Zlak and Shred of Lustria with Bastillodon with Rev Crystal here. And yeah, just a bunch of healing spams. While on the other side, there's also healing spams onto monstrous single entities. Kolak the Sun Eater with his Star Crusher leading the army, and then backed up by two massive giants, Chaos Giants, and then a line of Chaos Marauders, backed up by the Chosen of Corn to cut through all those skinks, I believe, and Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle with Fleshy Abundance and Stream of Corruption. Marauders, and then throwing axes of the Murder Horsemen of Corn throwing axes. A bunch of Chaos Warhounds and the Gorby's Chariots to roll through the enemy skinks. Now the horsemen with throwing axes, because they're Corn horsemen, they don't have missile block chance with the shields, so they're taking more damage from the enemy skirmishers, and they have to back the hell out of the range of those skink skirmishers. Now Marauders definitely need to rush up. They need to form a screen just to block the shots from the skink skirmishers, and instead of letting those giants take the skink skirmishers blow dots. But right now it's pretty rough. Yeah, actually, Gorby's Chariots can just run in and try to run over the skink skirmishers, though they are still taking quite a bit of damage from the blow dots. We'll be doing a little bit of fast forward there as the double giant is going in against the Shred of Lustria and Kolak as well. Kolak needs to circle around to the rear of the Shredder and then activate all his... Oh no, he didn't bring Star Crusher. Oh no. Either way, he's still a very good anti-large combatant, though he's taking a bit of damage from the Shredder. But the Shredder's massive hitbox is blocking the line of sight from the skink skirmishers. Oh no, wait, what the fuck? Kolak is dropping real low in terms of leadership, being ganged on by Lord Mazdamundi and the Shredder of Lustria, and the Chaos Giant isn't exactly focusing on the Shredder either, having so many skinks nearby to support. These Marauders need to move into combat instead of sitting around and eating a banishment bound version as well. This is going to be rough. Though Fleshy Abundance is going to heal up Kolak, but can it sustain his leadership long enough, or is he going to get routed? He is actually routed by the Shredder of Lustria, while the Giants are still slapping skinks. This is a little bit of mistake from the Beautiful here. If you send your units, especially single entities, into melee fights, you need to send them in with infantry as well. It's never bad to send them in with infantry, because infantry can distract enemy monsters and just lure them to attacking the infantry instead of your big monsters. Just like here, the Chaos Giants are distracted by the skinks, and instead of attacking Mazamundi, they're slapping the skinks instead. Over here, Kolek once again trying to go up against the Shredder of Lustria, while the machine gun blow darts are still doing chip damage against the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle. Yeah. And yeah, looks like the Team Chaos is suffering pretty hard at the hands of the Shredder, and the healing is almost eliminated on... Oh no, the healing is completely shattered. No more healing for Chaos... no more healing for Kolek and the boys, and that might just spell the death of... Oh, not necessarily. There's still a bunch of throwing axes. Why are you sending throwing axes into melee against Mazamundi? No! Keep them away. Just keep throwing those axes into Lord Mazamundi. Chip his health down. Ah well. Anyways, Kolek is probably gonna die from the net of Ermenhop pinning him down, blow darts shooting him, and Lord Mazamundi coming in as well. Shredder of Lustria shredding Kolek. Sounds like a nice Saturday for sure, for sure. I was just spending a bunch of hours cooking up my noodle broth, and it turns out really, really freaking good. But yeah, other than that, like having some good food, having a good stream, having some good Warhammer multiplayer action. What more to ask, right? Anyways, Shredder just shredded Kolek Sun Eater with the net of Amentok pinning him down, and the Chaos Giants are still fighting, which might be the best bet for Chaos to win this game, is to just have the double Chaos Giants keep slapping Lord Mazamundi. But here comes the Shredder, and oh, the Fire Flooring Axis really needs to aim down at Lord Mazamundi here and cut down his healing. Oh yep, on fire. Oh, never mind. The healing is no longer there, and Shredder is getting some really good damage into the Chaos Giants. Shredder of Lustria, and the machine gun blow darts. That is painful. And yeah, there's no more healing available for Warriors of Chaos, which means every little bit of damage they take is permanent, while the Warriors of Chaos still have Lizardmen still have plenty of healing left. Balance of power is still relatively even because of all the infantry presence left. We haven't been paying much attention to the skinks and whatnot. Oh, there's some Warhounds as well. They should be sent over to chase after the skinks, but right now the monster mash is the main thing here. If they win the monster, whoever wins the monster mash will win the day, and with the apotheosis coming in, yeah, that is probably gonna be it for the Warriors of Chaos, unless they can keep holding on to the capture point. But right now the Marauders are just keep pressuring away the skink skirmishers. Throwing axes are close by, throwing some more axes onto Lord Mazamundi, but there are no more big centerpieces of throwing axes to keep those no big centerpieces of monsters to keep those monsters occupied. They are now free to just run over and ravage the poor Chosens. Throwing axes continues to chip away the health of Lord Mazamundi, one of them being caught in a net and routed off by Lord Mazamundi, and now that is just gonna be a GG. Throwing in the towel from Beautiful there. And Contrarian Codex will be winning the tournament today. Very good game from everyone here. And a really interesting build with the double giant getting a lot of damage done. Just that unfortunately, oh, and the Warhounds, well, we're not seeing chase down a ton of skinks actually. But yeah, the problem is that the Chaos Giants, yeah, there's not much to pin down Shredder from going after the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle. And on top of that, a bit of mistake from Beautiful here, sending in those monstrous single entities in without infantry support, and that means they are just gonna get surrounded by enemy infantry support, distracted by them, and get hunted down, double teamed by those Shredder plus Lord Mazamundi combo, taking a lot of damage in the fight. Kolek Sun Eater should also get Star Crusher, just to boost his damage power. Like, without Star Crusher, Kolek Sun Eater is not exactly worth it, I would say, because yeah, he is just a slightly better Dragon Ogre Sheriff. He is a beast with Star Crusher. with all the attack buff, and on top of that, fight or die, actually adding the melee attack as well, making sure he hits more consistently. But other than that, yeah, a very good game for everyone, and of course 5,000 gold worth of damage value from the Shredded. That is some insane work. Just hunting down the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, killing Kolak, and then killing both of the Chaos Giant as well, carrying the game on his back pretty much. The rest of the battle, the rest of the Lizardmen didn't do that much damage. It is just the Shredder shredding everything in his path. But yeah, GG everyone for today's battle, and I hope you all enjoy this multiplayer showdown. And if you enjoy it, if you enjoy this multiplayer live stream, be sure to check out my other replays in the channel, and also subscribe, hit the like and subscribe button on my video. That is it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. It's been a long day, and yeah, that's it for today. Thank you. A big shout out to Big JP for inviting me to host this host this tournament cast, and also big thanks to RTK clan as a whole, and also Chicken Feed for doing all the organization, logistics, heavy lifting in the tournament. But yeah, that is gonna be it for today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out.